have your seat. God bless Nigeria and God bless the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Today, I'm simply excited and happy to witness this day. So if I make any mistake, blame it on the excitement, but I do not intend to make any. I'll apologize at any point in time. But really, today is a very important event. And with the quality of dignitaries, the minister is accompanied by other eminent men and women. And I'm so delighted that we are receiving them and every other person who will be mounting this podium to speak at one point or the other. It's the second day of the NME Niram Expo, and to officially welcome us at this event, I have the honor of inviting the president, who would do well to establish the protocol, and we follow that, and every other person can stand or other sit on the protocol duly established. So let's give a warm welcome as we present the president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Otumba Francis Meshoye, OFR. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you. Let's keep clapping until he gets here. Thank you so much, Mr. President. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mateo. Thanks so much. The Honorable Minister of State for Industry, our dear Senator John Owan Eno, the Director and Unido of Representative, Sub-Regional Office in Nigeria and ECOWAS Ambassador Philbert I.K.A. Johnson, the Managing Director of Bank of Industry, Dr. Olashupo Olusi, the Director General of Raw Materials Research and Development Council, the Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, esteemed members of Expo and Council of Man, the distinguished special guests, our distinguished speakers, esteemed exhibitors, industry stakeholders, gentlemen of the press, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm honored to warmly welcome you to day 2 of this landmark event, the Nigeria Manufacturing Equipment Expo, which is fittingly co-located with the Nigeria Raw Material Expo. It is the NME Niram Expo 2025. I'm delighted to welcome the Honorable Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Owan Eno. We appreciate the efforts you are making to revolutionize the industrial prosperity for our dear nation. We sense and feel you every time, and like you always say, we are very much well with you at every step you take or you would like to take. Yesterday, we had the Honorable Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology with us as our special guest of honor. Today, we are doubly honored to have the Honorable Minister of State for Industry, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment as our distinguished special guest of honor. Yesterday, we embarked on a remarkable journey, one that is not just about showcasing our industrial capabilities, but also about exploring opportunities for collaboration, innovation, and sustainable practices that can propel our industry to a future of resilience and prosperity. The energy and enthusiasm and connections that filled this all yesterday exemplify the dedication and passion that each of you brings to the table. Of particular interest is a remarkable submission of our speakers, keynote speaker, and session speakers who emphasize on the importance of showing readiness to revolutionize manufacturing with innovative technology-driven approaches. One phrase I can't forget in a hurry is that the nation must make manufacturing sexy. In other words, make it desirable, attractive, and doing everything possible to make it a household name. I'm positive on the outcome of our engagement at this event. Today, as we continue this inspiring dialogue, I urge each of you to engage openly with the exhibitors, share your insights, and forge partnerships that can lead to transformative outcomes for our businesses and our economy as a whole. The NME Niram Expo presents us with a unique platform to learn from one another, to challenge the status quo, and to pave the way for advancement that will shape the manufacturing landscape in Nigeria and beyond. As we take more presentations, discussions, and the networking sessions today, let us keep in mind the overarching goal of this event, which is to enhance the competitiveness of our manufacturing sector. You must harness the innovations and strategies presented here to equip ourselves to better respond to local demands while also positioning ourselves strategically in the global marketplace. Our theme for this year, accelerating sustainable manufacturing through cutting-edge equipment and technology solutions, resonates strongly with the need for adaptation and ingenuity in our industry. I encourage of you to reflect on how the insights gained from this expo can be integrated into your business strategies and operations. In closing, I would like to once again extend my heartfelt gratitude to our sponsors, partners, exhibitors, and all participants for your commitment to making this expo a success. Your contributions have been invaluable, and together we are striving the course towards a more robust manufacturing ecosystem in Nigeria. Let us embrace the opportunities that lie ahead and work collaboratively to build a prosperous future for our industry. I thank you very much, and I pray that to make today a productive and inspiring experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's put our hands together for the president of the association, Otumba Francis Meshoye, OFR. Thank you so much. And thank you too, most sincerely, for Dr. Olashipo Olusi, the MDBOI. It's a pleasure having you in our midst. And I know a lot of manufacturers are more excited to see you in this room. Before we invite the minister, the BOI, MD, and of course the UNIDO rep to speak, we have a presentation which will be delivered by the MD CEO Secure ID Limited on enhancing sustainable innovation and technology transfer in manufacturing. If your hands are not too busy, let's please give a resounding applause for Mrs. Kofo Akikugbe, OON, as she comes to address us. Thank you, ma'am. You're very much welcome.
Good morning. To the Honorable Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Owen Eno, to the President, Man Otumba Meshoye OFR, to the MD CEO, Bank of Industry, Dr. Olashipo Olusi, to the UNIDO country rep, the ambassador, the DG, RMRDC, Professor Muonso, to the DG, MAN, Shegun Ajayi Kadiri, MNI, and of course, to the members of the Expo of MAN, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Now, it's truly a pleasure to be here this morning, and I would like to thank the organizers of the NME Niram Expo, basically driven by the MAN and also the RMRDC, for putting together this very critical event. The topic before us is enhancing sustainable innovation and technology transfer in manufacturing. This conversation is not just important, but it is urgent. We are now at a point where we must decide whether Nigeria will continue to be a buyer of ideas and innovative solutions, or create them by ourselves for future enhancements as enablers of sustainable development and growth. Let's be honest. Our manufacturing sector is not where it should be. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, 2024, manufacturing contributed just 8.4% to Nigeria's GDP last year, down from 10% 5 years ago. Meanwhile, countries like Vietnam have crossed 25%, and of course we know China sits comfortably above 28%. And then we were told yesterday from the statistics that Africa as a whole contributes just 1.9% to global manufacturing output, despite having nearly 20% of the world's population. This gap, as far as I'm concerned, represents a missed opportunity. But it's a crisis that we must urgently address. But it's not all bad news. There have been some achievements in the manufacturing sector, even if modest, through the entrepreneurial spirit of our Nigerian industrialists and the collaborative support of government over the years. But there is clearly room for improvement. And it will be my pleasure to see us discuss it and see how we can make Nigeria fully industrialized and not just partially industrialized. And exploring that improvement space towards reaching our full potential is why we are here today and the subject of my address. So I would like to sort of break it into 4 key factors. Let's talk about innovation in manufacturing sector. That's 1. 2, let's look at the local manufacturers' utilization. How do we utilize our raw materials locally, which will be a key pillar to sustainability? Number 3, let's look at enhancements through local manufacturing of equipment and spare parts. And then lastly, let's talk about leadership, which is government, and the people, which I believe is the foundation for technology transfers for our economic growth and sustainability. Now, going to 1, innovation in the manufacturing sector, or innovation and the manufacturing sector. We remain a country of talent and entrepreneurial spirit, anchored on bold vision, courage, resilience, to deliver results despite our local challenges. And these challenges are not seen in many global geographies, and yet we have to compete with them. If I take myself, for example, I founded a company called Secure ID 20 years ago, at a time where Africa did not even have, or sub-Saharan Africa did not have a play in the production of smart cards, MasterCard, Visa cards for the finance sector, SIM cards for the telecom sector, and all sorts of high security ID documents like passports, like voter's card, like driver's license. Now, this is a space that is just not manufacturing, but it's technology. It's driven by technology. And at the time, we were told that this couldn't be done in Africa. But the entrepreneurial spirit, not just in me, but in so many millions of Nigerians, we take it upon ourselves and say, no, we can do this in Nigeria. And so, despite and in spite of all the global challenges, we were able to produce it in Nigeria, backward integrate over the years, organic growth, and then see ourselves exporting our products to over 20 countries in Africa. So whether in digital solutions, whether it's oil and gas, whether it's fintech, whether it's hospitality, furniture, agribusiness, we readily embrace and adapt and develop innovative ideas to deliver globally competitive and export quality solutions. Why and where? From a resilient manufacturing base. A lot has been achieved, but today's reality is that we still import almost every piece of machinery. Most of our raw inputs and even technical support in many cases are foreign. This overdependence keeps us vulnerable. It limits our growth. It stifles our ability to compete globally. It's certainly not a sustainable situation. We depend on even technical partners to deliver on our innovation. Needless to say that the right foundation needs to be put in place for continuous innovation. So we have creative mindset, we have the entrepreneurial mindset, we want to do so many things, but the ingredients to execute that innovation is not here, you know. And so that's why we're here today, and hopefully we'll look into it. The next pillar that I wanted to discuss was local raw materials. Local raw materials as a pillar of sustainability. How can Nigeria get to the stage where the entire value chain, or most of it, is possible and available locally? So like the rest of Africa, Nigeria is a country that is blessed. We are blessed with raw materials in great abundance, in diversity and contemporary utility to the needs of today's world. What does the world want to use with the raw materials that we have? Whether it's lithium, whether it's gold, whether it's cobalt, whether it's oil, whether it's gas, and many others, they are here in geographical spread, quantity and quality, and relative ease of extraction. So our severe limitations over the years has remained the incapability for local conversion, for value addition. In most cases, we simply export our raw materials as basic primary products for others to add value through manufacturing and re-export to us for their tremendous gain and painful loss to our own economy. Even though the Nigerian government has set up several agencies to support innovation and technology transfer, such as the Raw Materials Council of Nigeria, NOTAP, NASENI, and others, we need to evaluate the following. Are they well funded? Are they funded adequately? Are they being measured? Are they visible to the businesses in Nigeria that need them? For instance, if we look at NOTAP, NOTAP offers incentives for companies transferring technology. But how many manufacturers even know about it, let alone have access to its capabilities? We don't need to create new agencies. We simply need to make the existing ones work better. So this is something that we need to look at in how to ensure that a lot of our raw inputs are available and used locally. Thirdly is the enhancements through local manufacturing, especially of equipment and spares. Just as with raw materials, our dependence on the importation of machines and spares to our manufacturing sector is nearly total. The reality today is that China, and most recently even India, In their growing roles as factories and manufacturers of the world, they have become sources of our equipment through OEM partnerships and relationships in virtually all sectors of our productive economy. This situation has made us vulnerable as a country beyond equipment procurement, as it has extended to even basic issues such as breakdown maintenance, repairs, and spares. We have seen situations where, we in our company have seen situations where OEMs plead obsolescence. You buy a machine and all of a sudden those machines are obsolete, and they plead lack of support on spares as a strategic means of pushing local manufacturers screaming and complaining, but without much choice but to purchase new machines. And otherwise, compared to having to service what you already have. So this is a major limitation to our ability to provide enhancements to our modest manufacturing efforts, and must remain an area of focus to us all, most especially on the subject of technology transfer. Buying machines from China or Germany, that's not technology transfer. Real transfer happens when we can fix the machines ourselves, understand how they work, and eventually build them ourselves. Right now, that's not where we are. When we get this right, the benefits are clear. We reduce our dependence on imports, we grow our GDP, we export more, and most importantly, we build pride and confidence in local capacity. So lastly, we're going to look at leadership and people as foundation for technology transfer, for economic growth and sustainability that we've been talking about. This is probably the most important component of the matrix of challenges atomized in what I have said so far. As is often said, leadership and people make things happen. How do we harness the enormous population and talent available in Nigeria towards providing local solutions to the challenges as other countries have done, notably China and India as contemporary examples? Why have we allowed this situation to go on for so long? And what should we be doing about it? Let's look at the leadership and people dimensions. What can we learn from China, which we all know? Now, let's take a quick look. Just 30 years ago, China was known primarily as a low-cost manufacturing hub. It built the products, but not the brands, not the machines, not the technology. Today, China is not just a manufacturer, it is a global technology powerhouse. They produce their own industrial machines, not just the products. They've invested heavily in reverse engineering, studying imported technology, understanding how the machines work, replicating it, and eventually improving on it. As they imported machines for production, they did the same primarily for research, stripped them apart to study components as part of reverse engineering strategy towards the production of spare parts. They trained their people intentionally, building one of the largest engineering talent pools in the world. Training starts from the basics. It starts from the foundation at primary school level with a deliberate effort or deliberate focus and priority at STEM, which is a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Secondary education and academia followed with massive budget and funding at all levels. We need to focus on that triangle: industry, academia, and government, or leadership. So China had a long-term focus on social investments in education, in research, in science and technology, and that was consistent all along. And they patiently waited for the results. Most importantly, they made strategic use of foreign partnership, just like we all as manufacturers have one foreign company that we're partnered with one way or the other. And they invited the world in. But they were learning and building capacity behind the scenes. Think about brands like Huawei, Geely, Lenovo. None of them existed in global consciousness 20 years ago. Today, they are the ones designing and exporting technology to the rest of the world. It started with assembling other people's designs, but China made a deliberate decision to move up the value chain. So what are we saying here? Nigeria can take the same path. We can start small. We can focus on our enormous population, especially the youth. We can focus on skills and upskilling. We can focus on having training institutes for research and development, which will foster sustainable innovation. And we can focus on spare parts training production and grow into design and eventually ownership. Thank you very much for listening.
Let's give her a resounding applause. Even the microphone had to take a bow. That was such an excellent paper. And it was so practical, detailed, and filled with experience. You could tell that she's clearly experienced in the field she's talking about. And to summarize all the message she has for us is that we improve on what we currently have, focus on what we have and see how to make it better. And of course, social investment is very critical to our development as a nation. And I'm so glad that we have all the relevant stakeholders in this room who will be taking more and more decisions to help us get to that place we ought to be as a nation, particularly in the manufacturing sector. In this room, I'm delighted to acknowledge the presence of the Consul General of India, a friend of the house. Please, let's put our hands together for Sri Chandamoli Khan. It's a pleasure seeing you, sir, and thanks for all you do. We sincerely appreciate you. To address us next is the Regional Director from UNIDO. He's actually a friend of the house as well. So let's put our hands together for Ambassador Philbert Abaka Johnson. A round of applause, please. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Honorable Minister of State, President of MAN, Director General of MAN, Managing Director of Bank of Industry, Consul General of India, I stand on existing protocols. I'm blessed to be here this morning as a result of the kind courtesy of the Honorable Minister of State, who has taken me along to Kaduna and now here in Lagos to see how best we can cooperate through partnerships to revive the industry, to revive industrialization in Nigeria. MAN has also graciously offered me the opportunity to speak briefly at this event. I believe that is also in the spirit of cooperation and partnership, as UNIDO had previous engagements and continues to have engagements with you in respect of inclusive and sustainable industrialization. As you've already been told, I am the new UNIDO representative in Nigeria and the sub-regional director. I am here not for rhetorics. I'm here for action to ensure delivery of what would make this country what it ought to be. That which would drive the economy of this country, and I believe it hinges on sustainable industrialization. Again, I'm also a Ghanaian, but I believe I'm truly a Nigerian because of my family's heritage. My family, many, many years ago, over 100 years ago, traversed Badagry, Jos, and Kano. They intermarried in the length and breadth of this country. So see me as a brother who has come to work with you to ensure that we would do what we ought to do to make our country what it ought to be. This year, the Honorable Minister of State has demonstrated practical commitment, real commitment, in ensuring the signing of the Program for Country Partnership and the Industrial Development Fund between UNIDO and Nigeria. And I believe in his commitment. That is why he sent me to Kano and has brought me here also, so that we can forge further partnerships to ensure that industrialization becomes a real thing in this country. After signing these two critical agreements, I believe it is time for action and not a time to do business as usual. And our commitment is to be derived from our collective action in ensuring that in how little, the small things we can do, we can move forward from trade to producing adding value to the resources we have in this country. Man is definitely very critical in this enterprise. It is an association of those who are focused on industry. And they have said very clearly that they are the catalyst to bring about industrialization in this country. And so let us act now. Man is essential in this enterprise. It is essential because its worth is dependent on how effective it ensures that kind of interaction, that kind of ecosystem that brings about true value to the resources that we have in this country. And therefore, if you are able to ensure that you accelerate sustainable manufacturing through cutting-edge equipment and technology solutions, then you would have moved us much further. Let me reiterate my thanks and appreciation to you all for your commitment to drive our economy and inclusive and sustainable industrialization. In closing, I wish to state in Yoruba, Eko Koni Baje. I love Lagos. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Midase, Ambassador Johnson. And that's thank you in Ghanaian language to my brother who has learned the appellation in Lagos, Nigeria. Eko Nibaje, you mean to say. Please, a round of applause once for him, again for him. Thank you so much. And to address us next is the MD Bank of Industry. Manufacturers in the room, you should be excited as we make welcome Dr. Olashupo Olusi. A round of applause for him as he comes forward. Welcome, Doctor. We're so happy and excited to have you in the room. When we see you, we hear good news. Thank you. You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. The Honorable Minister, my boss, Senator John Owen Eno, the country representative of UNIDO, Ambassador Jackson, the President and the DG of MAN, my brother, the DG of RMRDC, Professor Ike Monso, other dignitaries here present, I want to say that please allow me to stand on already established protocols. It is an honor to be here at this pivotal event, the Nigerian Manufacturing and Equipment Expo. Of course, this gathering, as I can see, is one of industry or manufacturing stakeholders and is a testament to our collective commitment to drive growth, innovation, and industrialization in Nigeria. If you look at the schedule very closely, you will see that I am not supposed to speak today. But I couldn't resist the pressure from the various quarters, especially from my boss, the minister, who said that, or he gave me the impression that if the MD of BOI has not spoken, then, there's no hope, essentially. So I put it upon myself that I have to say a few words in the form of a goodwill message to encourage the organizers of this event that this is very truly a very important gathering. I've listened very closely to the presentations that were made, particularly to those by the guest speaker, Mrs. Kofuaki Kugbe. And it's in this spirit that I want to re-echo her presentation, which simply can be summarized that the nation cannot really achieve much in terms of developmental progress if it does not improve on the value addition within its manufacturing sector. Because this is what will drive sustainable exports, growth, job creation, and overall economic development. At the Bank of Industry, we understand this principle very much, and we are positioning ourselves to help resolve some of the critical challenges that lay across the value chain of that sector, which some of them have been identified, the skills, research and innovation, and of course, ultimately, financing. BOI's mandate, as you all know, is to focus on financing. And this is in this, again, this spirit that I will keep my own intervention short and focused on what the Bank of Industry is really doing to ameliorate and help boost the drive for manufacturing progress in our economy. First things first, you've all heard that innovation is very, very important. And in conjunction with several other government agencies, BOI, in particular with the Raw Materials Development Council, BOI is working to set up an innovation fund, which will help drive and commercialize new production, new ideas that have been put together by those who, especially by scientists in particular, who feel that Nigeria can benefit from the kind of products they're trying to put together, but who don't have the skills or the financing to commercialize them. We are also set up to create an impact fund. That impact fund will sustain equity investments, which is really different from the usual debt that BOI gives, but will focus on supporting enterprises at the growth stage across the whole value chain of manufacturing and other sectors, by the way, to help enhance the financial instruments that are available to those that can really make a difference for manufacturing. I also want to say that, as you can see, the federal government continues to make a difference in the sector. The 75 billion that was provided by the federal government through the very strong support of His Excellency the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has already been exhausted, by the way, because of the interests and the commitment that BOI put in to ensure that it focuses on achieving some of the goals that it set out to achieve. I want to reiterate again that as a development bank and one that is really charged to support the manufacturing sector, we will not relent. We will continue to do everything we can within our powers to ensure that we resolve not just the financing and the problems that exist within financing, but the other challenges that exist within the whole ecosystem of manufacturing sector. And on this note, I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank you for inviting us to visit and to participate in this event. And I believe that you can count on us at any point in time to also really support when BOI is called upon. Thank you.
DBOI, Dr. Olashupo Olusi, we are indeed glad to have you in our midst. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, guests from far and near, it's not a coincidence that I'm dressed in my African parachute. And the reason is because we are ready to fly. Every time the Minister of State for Industry is in the room, I'm always glad that this is one man who clearly walks the talk. He doesn't say what he would not do. And we are opportuned and privileged to listen to him once again to address us on all the other programs and laudable initiatives his excellent self always brings to bear. So let's give a resounding applause as we make welcome the one and only Honorable Minister of State for Industry. Please put your hands together for Senator John Owan Eno as he comes forward to address us at this event. It's called Mr. Talk and Do in some parlance, and is clearly an excellent spirit. Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you. Please, you may be seated. Thank you. The president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, Otumba Francis Moshoiwe, the regional director and UNIDO representative to Nigeria, Ambassador Philbert Abaka Johnson, the Consul General of the Republic of India, the Managing Director of BOI, Dr. Olashupo Olusi, the DG of Raw Materials Research and Development Council, Professor Ike Monso, the DG of MAN, Shegun Ajayi Kadire, other distinguished speakers, esteemed exhibitors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Let me thank the organizers of this event. I mean, earlier on in the last couple of weeks, there seemed to have been some anxiety. I remember last week, Lady Chukwudozie of Keystone Bank followed a team of lubricants to my office. And before leaving, she tried to make an appeal on why she thought I should consider it very important to attend this event. And I wondered why. And the reason for my wonder was that if MAN is organizing an event, I mean, it's a no-brainer that I will personally attend. I mean, first, if I love myself, and I do love myself, I should be in the room. I mean, secondly, I think that MAN has remained very supportive of the little work we've tried to do since being assigned the mandate of industry. So let me again say that, and especially if you're looking at the theme of this event, let me say something little about Ambassador Philbert Johnson. Like I said, he's relatively new to our country. I mean, he came immediately after the signing of the PCP, and he's been around. But I find in him, I think, a gentleman who is determined for the work for which he's been assigned. I find, for the first time, an individual who is not waiting, to be told what to do, who is actually pushing and trying to get everybody to get committed to the work. And I had to speak to my team. I said, you guys have to watch it. This man mustn't be more serious about the work of industrializing our country than ourselves. After all, whatever work he does here is going to be to the benefit of our country. So we must at all times show more seriousness than him. That is the charge that we have. And I thank you. That's what you bring. I thank you. So I'm glad that, yesterday he was with us in Kaduna. Today he's with us in Lagos. And in some way, it gives him some feel about what he is up against in terms of our country and in terms of what needs to be done. Mrs. Kofoa Kinkube, thanks for being so challenging in your presentation. Thanks for challenging everybody and challenging us about matters that are obvious, about matters that are said all the time. It is either that we are bemoaning the fact that we keep exporting basic primary products, or that we are involved in, importing all sorts of machinery to the extent that it even becomes disgraceful that even the basic ones we are not able to manufacture in country. And it's incidentally, unless we're able to manufacture these equipment, we would never get where we're headed. Because the countries we're getting them from are not tired of supplying. So they're going to get us to a point in which it's like some other form of dependence on neocolonialism. That's what it is. So unless we find ourselves and find our feet, we would never get to our desired destination. So let me thank, the raw materials, and thank, MAN, and thank everybody who has been involved in this raw materials expo. For what I think is quite pivotal, what I think is subject and an expo that in itself is almost a reflection. It's almost like a mirror. It mirrors what we are and the state of play in the ecosystem. It gives us some kind of graphic map in terms of what the situation is. So, and especially the theme is just not just timely. I think it's a transformative theme. And I think it gets us to begin to look at, transiting and moving beyond intention to innovation, and then beyond mere aspirations to having to now, apply what our aspirations are. I think that if you look at it globally, manufacturing is undergoing quite some profound revolution. The convergence of matters like automation, artificial intelligence, energy efficiency, smart infrastructure, of course, is redrawing the map and the boundaries of possibilities. And I think that one question everybody in this room needs to ask is, what role is our country playing in all of this? What role? And I think that we cannot afford, to be left behind, not when we got quite some strong points. We got a huge raw materials base. We got, the geography of our country. We got a huge population. We got a population that has the right energy mix. So what we may lack, for example, may be a kind of coordinated acceleration to get all of this to happen. So we may not have to continue to treat technology as something that just cutting edge manufacturing equipment and technological advancement, as mere capital. I mean, it's something that we need for the survival of industry, for the survival of manufacturing. I mean, yesterday, like I said, I was in Kaduna. We went to UNTL, and we walked through a facility that hasn't been in production since about 2019 or whatever, a facility that is not working anymore. And we saw the machines, we saw all of that. So equipment, machinery, are going to remain at the bottom of all our aspirations to be an industrialized country, to be a manufacturing, powerhouse. So the MSMEs, for example, that drive about 90-something% of our manufacturing sector, are going to continue to need access to affordable smart machinery, not antiquated tools, of the past. Our textile industries are going to need scaling up, are going to need efficient systems to become globally competitive. So we must move from importing used, industrial scrap, because most of them, that's what they are, to deploying world-class solutions built for resilience, for sustainability. What it is that we must get to a point in which our factories are a reflection of the future that we seek as a country. What I'll do at this moment is just to give some highlight of the few areas of current momentum. We have a draft national industrial policy that is currently going through some processing for revalidation. And this policy places technology adoption, equipment financing, and backward integration at the core of our manufacturing vision. Let me thank Man. Man is in the room with us, trying to get a document that is going to be fit for purpose. The proposed Made in Nigeria campaign that is going to be hopefully anchored by a pro-Nigeria secretariat will provide certification, digital marketplaces, and media support for made in Nigeria equipment and manufacturing innovation. Through policy-driven partnerships with DFIs and innovation hubs, we are working to de-risk the acquisition of manufacturing technologies for small-scale producers. And critically, we are harmonizing efforts between the ministry, between NASENI, NIPC, and the Bank of Industry to align around its single industrial acceleration agenda. So my call this morning to our manufacturers and to our innovators and exhibitors is this: that this expo should not just be a marketplace, it should be a mandate. So as we get out of this room at the end of tomorrow, that mandate will be forward. One, a mandate to forge strategic technology transfer partnerships. 2, to explore modular, mobile, decentralized equipment models for underserved regions. 3, to collaborate with our universities, with our polytechnics, to co-design Nigeria-specific machines, and above all, to redefine sustainability, not just as a matter to comply environmentally, but as economic inclusiveness and industrial sovereignty. So in closing, in terms of my comments, let me say that I think we are at a confluence driven from 2 different sides. 1, a global shift toward resilient, localized, technology-driven manufacturing on the one hand, and then a national reawakening of the power of industrial dignity. I think that's what it is. And I think that, beyond this expo, and I was just, trying to find out from the president of MAN, in terms of the regularity of this forum, of this expo, beyond all of this is that I think we should begin to see how measurable the outcomes of our efforts continue to be. Let it never be said that in addition to the past moments that we have missed, that even at this point that Nigeria is missing, let it be said that this expo, at the end of it, was able to enable as many partnerships as were desirable, those kinds of partnerships that are going to lead to the manufacture and the creation of the different kinds of machinery and equipment that are required to retool, our country's industries and manufacturing concerns. Let it be that the contribution of this expo, is that it was able to forge the retooling of the soul of Nigerian manufacturing. Let it be said that we dared not just to buy better machines, but to build a better nation, because as much as we try, as hard as we do, I think that we've had a past in which, if we had consolidated, would not be where we are today. But thank God for the different levels of leadership that we have, leadership at country level, leadership at man level, leadership at the various places that we play. Let's make those contributions that are going to continue to count to see how we can grow industry and grow manufacturing. As more times as we ignore and pay lip service to this sector, that is how long it's going to take our country to get to those heights that have been attained by other climes and other countries. So I congratulate all of you for this effort, and my hope is that this effort adds to an aggregation of the efforts we need as a country to get by. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister of State. Sir, I would like for you to kindly remain. The President will come on stage. There's a token of our appreciation he will be presenting to you at this point. Thank you so much. It's always a delight listening to you, and the hope you bring to the fore in your presentation is very, very commendable. The President will present this.
It's a great honor to really present this to our very amiable and dear Honorable Minister. Your inspiration, like I said, is wonderful, and we can't do but to do everything within our capability to support you in our ramifications. This is a token to just appreciate your presence here today as our special guest of honor at the 2025 NME Niram Expo to the August 6, 2025. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So while that is going on, I'd like for the two DJs to come up stage. The UNIDO rep, please let's have you. We'll have a quick group photograph. A quick group photograph. We'll do it in batches. So we'll have this first. Is the BOR MD still around? Okay, so let's have this first. So after this, I'd like for Mrs. Oyewole and Mrs. Akikugbe to join the next. Okay, please move it. Yeah, it's quite heavy. I would have helped you, but I don't want to try. Thank you. All right, Mrs. Akikugbe and Mrs. Oyewole, please kindly step forward. Okay. Women are coming, yeah, and I love the room you are making. These are Amazons in manufacturing, and we're very, very proud of them. Ma'am, please move close to the president. Let's diffuse. All right, thank you so much. So after the set, we'll have every other dignitary in front, on the front row. Please kindly step forward, including the Indian Consul General. Please come forward. Every other dignitary, please, let's have you very quickly. Thank you. We'll have the final photo. Then, after this photo session, the DG would deliver a thank you message, after which the Honorable Minister will tour the exhibition area. Then immediately after that, we would go to the panel discussion. And the panel discussion is happening immediately after the tour. We've clearly lost some time, so we're going to maximize all of the time we have left. So the DG would say a word of thank you, the tour of the exhibition area, then we go straight into the panel discussion. Thank you so much. While the photo is done, Mr. President, you remain, and the Indian Consul General would remain. This was supposed to be presented to him yesterday, but he was not around. The diplomat partner for this event. So this is presented to the Consul General.
Very much. Once again, we're so happy to have you here, Consul General. We at your office the other time. The warm reception was very fantastic, and you've been showing your support ever since. This is in appreciation of this for the diplomatic partner for the 2025 NME Niram Expo, August 5, 2025. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Consul General. Thank you sincerely, Mr. President and Consul General. So to deliver a word of thank you for this session, before we tour the exhibition area, I'd like to invite the Director General of MAN, Segun Ajayi Kadri, MNI. Please, a round of applause. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Omotayo. The Honorable Minister of State, the Consul General of India, the Director and UNIDO Representative, Sub-Regional Office in Nigeria and ECOWAS, the Managing Director of BOI, my brother, the DG of Raw Materials Research and Development Council, the President of MAN, Honorary Treasurer of MAN, our esteemed partners and sponsors, our gallant members, our cherished exhibitors, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any other protocol I've not observed, kindly allow me to stand on it with the hope that it will not collapse because so many people have had to stand on it. On behalf of Raw Material Research and Development Council and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, we remain grateful to you for staying the course We have received unquantifiable support from you, and we are indeed very grateful. As we draw the curtains on the first session of day 2 of our NME Niram Expo 2025, I would like to reiterate our heartfelt gratitude for your enthusiastic participation in what has become an enthralling 3 days of exposition and conversations around value chain optimization to deliver on economic self-reliance and enhance industrialization. Honorable Minister, sir, we remain grateful to you for the partnership we share and the leadership you have always provided, right from your first week in office. The Industrial Revolution Working Group has indeed revolutionized our relationship with your ministry. This is being reflected in the responses we get from our members in the Manufacturer CEO Confidence Index. We now have a template for the resolution of the binding constraints that have historically limited the performance of the manufacturing sector in Nigeria. We use this medium to reassure you. Thank you. Thank you. We use this medium to reassure you of our readiness to go each step of the way with you as we journey to a resilient and competitive manufacturing sector in Nigeria. Your presence here today, in spite of other commanding commitments, together with the eminent personalities on your entourage, speaks volumes of the depth of your commitment to the industrialization of Nigeria. We are gladdened by the presence of the MD of BOI, my brother and MD. We thank you, and we thank you again for the cooperation we have with you. In particular, your remarkable and proactive management of the 75 billion FGN loan facilities to manufacturers is well appreciated. We use this opportunity, and I'm sure the message will get to you, to express our readiness to work with you to achieve the promised 1 trillion in the stabilization plan. To our brother come home, the Director and UNIDO representative, Sub-Regional Office in Nigeria and ECOWAS, we hear you loud and clear, and we say that manufacturing in Nigeria kò ní bàjẹ́ o. We shall work with you to advance manufacturing performance in Nigeria. We have a manifest destiny to lead Africa's industrialization, and we are happy to fulfill that noble task with you during your tenure. Thank you. This Expo is an expression of innovation, collaboration, and our shared vision for a future of manufacturing in Nigeria. It serves as a platform for us to showcase the remarkable products and services our industry have to offer, while also fostering the connections needed to drive growth and development. These discussions and networking opportunities this Expo provides will undoubtedly lead to fruitful partnership and initiatives that will contribute to the growth and diversification of our economy. Let us continue to utilize this platform to share knowledge and cross-fertilize on innovation and technology advancement. Let us inspire one another and collaborate on ways to overcome the obstacles we face and grow our economy. In closing, I would like to thank all our sponsors and partners for their support, without which we would not have embarked on this journey in the first place. I say again that your belief in the potentials of Nigerian manufacturing is a testament of the age-old adage, he who plants a seed today reaps a harvest tomorrow. I assure you that your investment in our endeavors today will yield bountiful returns. To everyone who has worked tirelessly to host this Expo, your dedication and hard work continues to show as we progress in the 3-day of enthralling engagements. If you want to go far, work together. So let us move forward and work together to build a resilient and competitive manufacturing sector in Nigeria. I thank you all and welcome you again to day 2 of our NME Niram Expo 2025. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, the DG man, Segun Ajayi Kadri, MNI. And now the president, the minister, the DG, and our dignitaries will now go on the tour of the exhibition area. If you still want to stay in the room, the exhibition tour will be beamed on the screen. So please, you could either stretch and also visit or sit down and watch the exhibition. And like I said, the panel session is happening immediately after the tour. And from my time, I'm looking at the tour lasting for about 50.
TV. Mr. Kayode Akitemi. Please put your hands together because Mr. Akitemi, from what I have gathered, is a renowned Nigerian broadcaster and journalist, TV host, and media executive with over 35 years of experience. And he's currently the managing director of TV Central, which prides itself as revolutionizing news reporting and delivery in Nigeria and Africa at large. Please, you're welcome, sir. To join him as a session speaker, we have a woman Amazon. She is the managing director of Secure ID Limited, Mrs. Kofo Akinkugwe. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Akinkugwe, a digital expert, an entrepreneur par excellence, and a woman leader with an opinion of the development of the women as drivers of industry in Nigeria. Please, can we have Mrs. Akunkugwe? Is she here? Okay, she's here represented by Mr. Oluwole Dada. Please, can you join us on the table? Please put your hands together for Mr. Dada. We are also going to, we have also the Honorable Commissioner, Innovation, Science and Technology, Lagos State, Mr. Olatubosun Alake. Please put your hands together. So please clap loud enough for, okay, he's not here. Okay, fine, we'll move on. Then let me invite the Director General of the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP, here represented. Please, can we have the representative of the DG of NOTAP to mount the rostrum? Please put your hands together for the representative of the DG. Okay, so he has joined us. Mr. Emeka Oji is representing the Director General of NOTAP. Please put your hands together loudly for him to encourage them. And then we have the Senior Trade Consultant, West Africa, VDMA, Mr. Kayode Jegede. Yes, you're welcome, sir. Also, join me in recognizing and welcome to the podium the Executive Director of FinTrack Software, Mr. Ladi Ipaye. I just want to pronounce that name very well. Perhaps when you come closer, you teach me the right pronunciation so that I give you the right honor. Okay, so that's Mr. Ipaye. Please, I think we're going to, please, those who helped us bring up the chairs, please, we need one more chair on the podium, please. Can you help us do that? Please, can we get one more chair, please? So I'm going to pause now until we have the chair in place. Because I was going to invite one more person. That is the Chief Executive Officer of Open Access, Dr. Ayotunde Koka. But okay, so we're getting ready to bring our panelists up. Okay, so please, can we have Dr. Ayotunde Koka to come up to the rostrum? Please put your hands together for him. Please keep clapping. All right. So at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be handing over the microphone to our moderator for this session, Mr. Kayode Akitemi. Okay. All right, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure having the opportunity to moderate this session. And I believe very strongly that the individual sitting here on the podium with me as panelists are highly qualified to have the conversation. Let me share my thoughts by saying that the world is shifting rapidly. Manufacturing, as we know it, is undergoing a revolution driven by the twin forces of technological innovation and environmental responsibility. In the midst of this global transformation, Africa and Nigeria in particular finds itself at a critical inflection point. We're no longer merely reacting to external shifts. We're shaping our industrial destiny. The conversation is bound to hit on a number of notes, and I think the first thing I would want to do is to go straight to my extreme right by asking Dr. Ayatunde Koka. Many Nigerian manufacturers still struggle with basic infrastructure like electricity and logistics and so on. In such a setting, let's start from there. How realistic is it to talk about sustainability and high-end technology when we're talking of NEPA, electricity, logistics, roads, the kind of infrastructure that is taken for granted in times?
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and it's great to be here. Thank you. I have a reference point. 16 years ago when I came back to Nigeria, and I always say, actually, as a base of how roles I've had Pan-African, and Africa always gives you the opportunity to innovate. Really, you've just got hurdles you come across, you figure out how to innovate around it, and we can leapfrog in certain instances. So I initially was this group CIO for a bank. And, you know, the bank IT system sits in a data center somewhere, so on. Because at that time, we didn't have an environment to, say, co-locate. Banks do that now because we have data centers that will have the IT systems, right? We had to build one. Remember talking to my wife, and she called me director of power. Because I studied mechanical engineering, as I noted yesterday, but I'd done a lot more beyond that. Manufacturing, technology, banking, and oil and gas, and so on. And I remember going home thinking to myself, Tunde, you're a mechanical engineer, for God's sake. You've got to take charge. Even things were just all over the place. Power would go down, and you could go for 6 months with no power. Or if you're trying to get a hold of power, if you're having problems with the generator, you get that there's not 1 kilowatt of power coming to Lagos. 1 kilowatt. So you have to figure out how to efficiently get all of the power I didn't say, oh my God, that's the end of it. We have all these problems and, of course you have to start a journey systemically of being part of improving things. But you need to look at your here and now and innovate and solve the power problem. So what happened? We engineered a power solution that was actually generally globally recognized and used as a standard now for 100% reliable power, including everything you do through the diesel supply chain. I'm using that as just one example, right? But we've come a huge long way since then. From that reference point, a lot has happened. I was just having a conversation around the power thing earlier on as well, that we need to find clusters of various sizes of manufacturing, which many countries do around the world. That means, therefore, that you can focus certain fundamental things. Gas is the most available source of power in the country, okay? The hydro locations are quite distributed, and you have more innovative ways of getting gas through CNG or LPG or whatever to points of use, or just pipe it. So those clusters allow you to have, collective captive power, and some of that is being done right now, okay? So that's just looking at that fundamental issue of power. And you have to keep innovating around it. If we're building a 10 megawatt data center, I need to find 20 megawatts of power generated to run it. I'm thinking about now of what I could probably need in the next 18 months to 24 months, okay? The other things are practically the systems you use to run your manufacturing. The complexity varies. Some companies have SAP, some have NetSuite and so on. Smaller systems that support you. Cloud services are now emerging. People just plug in to get what they need to run their manufacturing systems. However, there's one key part of that piece of IT that helps you run what you're running. And that is how, first of all, you do your bill of materials based on infinite capacity available. So you get your big. Now, you now need to constrain that with the rules that shows the dependencies and what you have in the manufacturing process. Now, if you just take some software from the UK and think it'll work here, the constraints are different. But you have to therefore write in the kind of constraints when you look at the reality of your supply chain and everything, and you just got to hunker down and make it work, right? This is why what I said yesterday also, AI could have an impact. Because if you then engineering in the heuristic, that's the learning aspect of that aspect of AI, that it makes it useful for what we do here, then it could be quite a breakthrough. But we can't stand still. Everybody has to look at the issues they find and innovate around it. But take also the longer play to say, I will act collectively to address these issues. So then you say, okay, yes, you use this AI thing in your solution. Well, the AI has to be able to recognize the idiosyncrasies of the environment we operate in.
All right.
Okay, you know what I mean, right?
Makes
so
sense.
we therefore have to use local knowledge and capability. We have AI factories and so on being developed over here. Just finally, 16 years ago, I came and I said, okay, well, surely you must have data centers where you can collocate these IT systems. I came, there wasn't one colocation data center anywhere. So I built one, or we built one. But now, you have world-class data centers around the place. So we have to put those issues into the context. Yes, in Lagos. Lagos is one of the emerging data center hubs in Africa, now South Africa, okay? And is growing significantly. The other one in Kenya, and so on. Now, we can turn that just around in the same way to make this a manufacturing hub around Africa. The value of the currency is such that it's more competitive. It's actually structurally appreciating against the USD. Why? There's an inflation differential between the two currencies. So the currency has been stable, but carrying that inflation differential effectively. So structurally, actually, it's appreciating, right? So those are practical things I see in terms of looking at the issues that we have now, recognizing that significant amount of progress is being made, not enough yet, okay? Some fundamentals in terms of the way monetary policy and works, and physical policy works, is making the whole process of engineering for export much more conducive. So there are a lot of things coming together, but regardless, we have to look at the problem we have here and now and figure out how to innovate around it.
Innovate around it. Thank you very much. So let me jump to my left-hand side, and then the extreme left is Mr. Ladi Ikpaye, who's the Executive Director of Fintrack Software. So talking about innovate, I know that my background, apart from television, happened to be technology when I was living in England. And I know how extremely challenging it can be. If you sit down and you're writing a set of codes, you have to compile and debug and recompile and things like that. When you talk about Fintrack, you are dealing with technology to do it with the finance sector. Share with us your experience as Executive Director. What are the innovations that you have had to bring to bear when it comes to the challenges of our society today, so that others can understand that when we talk about sustainable innovation, is an ongoing thing, it never ends. Even when it comes to mundane things like the basic necessities that make your life easy. Please share with us one or two.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I would just start by saying technology is an enabler. So what it does is that it ensures that processes are done in a much more efficient way, And so for us in Fintrack, we've been in the IT space since over 15 years now. And I can say we are proudly Nigerian. And so what we do is every solution that we have, we develop the solutions ourselves. And now we find out that the challenges that organizations have, some are peculiar to them, in terms of trying to automate their processes and ensure that they are efficient in their processes. And so what we do is we have the strength of customization in terms of ensuring that the solution that we are providing fits into their environment. And you agree with me that there is no two organizations that operate 100% the same way. So sometimes there are differences based on their internal policies. And so it's that internal policies that we are automating for them. And so with time, having been into the industry, we begin to look at challenges that organizations face. For example, recently we come up with this anti-money laundering solution because we find out that organizations need to track and monitor transactions. And now that you have a lot of cyber attacks out there, organizations need, especially financial institutions, need to really track and monitor transactions, look at potentially exposed persons, and look at transactions that are going beyond normal. So we came up with that solutions to be able to meet up with that. Then also with time, we came up with our data warehousing and business intelligence. We said that data now is money, and most organizations now have data at their beck and call, but the ability to be able to make use of that data for informed decisions is a challenge to some organizations. So our solutions now enable them to be able to make decisions from the data they have, being able to slice and dice data real time to be able to make decisions that they have. And also, we found out that with time, we came up with what we call the performance management solution, to the extent that you now have organizations that want to really track the performance of the organizations of their human capital. And don't forget that COVID really changed a lot of things. And when COVID came, that was when automation really, came to demand. And so many people wanted to really be able to do things, even remotely, and so that's where we came up with solutions that can meet up, with them, that you can even sit down at the comfort of your home and even track the performance of your organization and even look at the flow of what is happening in your organization. So all those those things that really do.
All right. Thank you very much. That's very, very insightful, sharing that experience. So let me come to the representative of the Group Managing Director of Secure ID, Mrs. Kofo Akinkugbe, being represented by the General Manager of Secure ID, Mr. Oluwole Dada. So when it comes to innovation, sustainable innovation is something that a lot of people say you can't stop but keep thinking every step of the way. And that thought process means that you're looking at what's happening in other climes. I just came back from the place I call home, which is England, and they've gone beyond inserting their cards, their ATM cards into the holes or into POS machines. Now they're tapping. And then you can also tap when you go to any shop or go to a train station. In terms of innovation in Nigeria, what are the challenges that you face that I wish the minister was here to listen and learn and see how the government can help you? What are the challenges that you face in the area of innovation to be able to catch up with the rest of the world and see whether we can begin to create iconic organizations that the world will begin to learn from? Looking at it from Secure ID perspective and your line of business.
Very well, thank you so much. From the example that you gave, which is the fact that people don't insert cards in some other climes, Secure ID is well positioned for that, and we are working with some banks currently to deliver digital cards. Now, the digital cards will enable you use your phones to make payments, to tap. However, the challenge we're having is the ecosystem. Currently, you have contactless cards in the trade, but how many of the POS are contactless enabled? So there needs to be a policy around it such that the environment becomes a contactless enabled one, whereby when people go to shops to make payments, they just tap their cards and that will enable them make payment. With this, the digital card that we are working in partnership with some banks to make available will be readily workable. But without that, that will not be possible. Also, we have the eSIMs. So instead of buying SIM cards, which is also a sustainable solution, instead of having your SIM cards for every time you want to buy a card, you just use your eSIM. So that does away with the current cards. And it's important for us to mention that sustainably, Secure ID worked with MTN to produce the first eco-friendly cards in West Africa. So these are some of the innovations that we are bringing into the ecosystem. But we also need the ecosystem to be ready for it.
Okay, so let me ask you then, my friend on my left-hand side here, the senior trade consultant for VDMA. Looking at it, Mr. Kadi Jagade, I think we had a very minimal conversation yesterday, but I'm looking at this and I'm saying, with all of the things that's been said so far, when you look at the ecosystem that he has just mentioned, that Mr. Oluwole Dada just mentioned, do you think that Nigeria can be described as ready, or do we need to hold the nation by the scruff of the neck and say, whether we like it or not, we're going to do this in terms of sustainable innovation? And I will peg this on something that happened many years ago. Many years ago, a lot of people said Nigeria is not ready for ATMs, that if you put ATM anywhere, some people are just going to go there and pull it out and take all the money and run away. It's never going to work. It can't work in Nigeria. And then came a CBN governor who said, yes, we have to begin to do less of cash and more of transactions. What does it take from your perspective for us to say, hold by the scruff of the neck, this thing called sustainable innovation has got to happen? What do you think we should be doing?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Nigerians are very smart people. That's the first thing I want to say. I'm a Nigerian. I live in Nigeria most of my life. Even though I represent a German organization here today called VDMA, I live in Lagos. And I have mixed with Nigerians like myself throughout my life. And I've seen extremely smart people. So we have pockets of smart people all over the place in Nigeria. And I can give examples of incredibly smart people I've seen some Nigerians do, right? We are in an environment that is challenging. And people have found ways around things to solve problems. We cannot say we will not innovate and wait for the rest of the world to pass us by. And even our neighbors in West Africa are not waiting for us to continue to claim to be the giant of Africa on paper forever. They have their own ambitions to beat us. Okay? Now, let me use the examples, or one or two examples from the speech Mrs. Akin-Kugbe gave this morning. And I think she captured all the critical things there. But the one I want to use as an example is China. She emphasized that why can't we do what China did, right? I've had the privilege of living in China. I lived in China for 4 years. I ran my own business, a trade consulting business in Shanghai for 4 years. I employed Chinese people, right? I lived with them. I even did 6 months of my MBA in China. So I understand China very well. I understand their mentality. And what they are doing is not by accident. It's by design and it's by patience. They designed what they wanted to achieve 30, 50 years ahead. And they were patient. Now, some of the key factors that bind China together, even though there are many tribes, right? The Chinese are many tribes. Most of us don't know. But they speak one language, which we know as Mandarin, right? But in China, they call it Putonghua. Common, and it means common language. Putonghua means common language. That's what they call Mandarin. That's because all the other people, all the other tribes speak different language. And an emperor long ago, centuries ago, mandated that we will have a common language and it will be the language of Beijing. That was how they started speaking standard Mandarin. And they speak with one voice. And they have incredible focus. When I lived with the Chinese and I saw how focused they were on development, and this was between, I left there 2010, and I was there 4 years, right? I saw the incredible focus they had. I knew these people it's going to be difficult to beat these people in anything, right? Because even their whole agenda for the country is taught to them from primary school. And this is what the Chinese told me. They said, we know that we were the biggest economy in the whole world for almost forever until the last 200 years, when our country was weak and industrial revolutions was happening and we did not take it up. That's why we came back. But we will become number one again. And everybody in the country is galvanized towards that. Their educational system, their training, everything is galvanized towards that. And you see them continue to innovate. And innovation is nothing but looking for ways to improve what we are doing. So what Nigeria needs to do is leadership.
Yeah.
It's all about leadership. If you have the right leadership, things change in a country, and the leadership says, we have to go this way. Let's pick one simple example of something we are doing wrong in Nigeria. Our educational policy is wrong. It's wrong. And I say it wherever I have the opportunity. We are not training for our needs in the economy. What we need now mostly are vocational skills in Nigeria. We should have more technical schools than we have universities. Everybody wants to go to university, and then they come out and then go learn coding or something, and hairdressing or hairmade. It's a waste of time. Okay. Why not do vocational skills from the beginning?
Excellent, Mr. Jagaden. You've just hit the right note, because that's exactly where I was going next, and that takes me to Mr. Oji, who's representing the Director General National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion. And my thought is that in the area of technology acquisition, it's somewhat not too difficult to see somebody who has done something and done it right, and you desire to acquire it or to buy into it. But what matters the most is, can you take it to the next level? Can you manage it? Is it technology that is owned by Chinese, and for the implementation is brought in by Chinese and they run it themselves? Or is it one that they're handing over to our people and they're training the people? So NOTAP, for example, what efforts is there to not just acquire and promote, but to develop the next generation of people that will take that particular technology to the next level? Mr. Oji.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. I bring the greetings of my Director General. She actually would have been here, but where she is currently in Benin is connected to our subject matter today. Technology is technology anywhere, but then you define what you do with the technology coming to you. You define the direction you want to take. You can do a tech transfer, do the adaptation, but then your domestication process is now what is going to stand you out to show what exactly you intend to achieve. And I'm going to make some one or two statements based on the interventions of NOTAP in that regard. And you permit me to really respectfully acknowledge my former boss, who is still my boss, and who was a champion of this NOTAP intervention when he talked about tech transfer and tech domestication, in the person of Engineer Dr. Umar Abubabindri. Please, can you help me to acknowledge him? He really championed this cause very correctly, and if not for him, perhaps I couldn't have been here today. And the good thing is that the current Director General has also keyed into this particular issue. Technology is coming to Nigeria, but then the question is, what do we do with it? And we looked at it and find sometimes you have technologies coming and they are dumped in the country. They are dumped here, whether you like it or not, whether you need it or not. If you have the money to import your technology, bring it in. The government said you cannot hit the Eureka by becoming a dumping ground for technologies of all sorts. There must be a window through which that technology needs to come in. And when you hit that window, the window begins to filter through. At three levels. The level of the legal perspective. Does it align with our laws? Is it infringing the laws of the country? The second level, the economic perspective. What's the value for money for the technology you are importing? If that tech cannot give us value, then economically it's not viable. Now, the third point, which is the critical part of it, and I think that connects to the question you raised, is the technical. At the technical level, NOTAP, that's Nigerian government now through NOTAP, is asking the question. This technology coming in, what is the capacity building component of it for Nigerians? Because Nigerians must need to learn and become an active player in it. So if, for example, in the first year you're bringing in your tech, you're coming in with 10 of your expatriates, it's expected that by the second year, you have reduced it and some number of Nigerians will have gained knowledge and expertise on the technology process. But mere speaking it or leaving the policy isn't just enough. So NOTAP now got into what we call the NOTAP Industry Partnership. And again, the doing of that, the initiator of it is the man I mentioned earlier on. What is it all about? Industry requires technology, and for every tech you import into Nigeria, it's indicative of a gap. If there's a gap, we import technology. But then where does technology come from? Technology comes from research. Where does research come from? Research institutes, university, polytechnic, monotechnics, the private research establishment, even individuals. The TVET, my colleague mentioned. This is the gamut of where research comes from. Do we have it? We have TVET. Do we have university? We have 299 as of 2 weeks ago. Polytechnics, research institutes.
299.
299 universities in the country as of 2 weeks ago. And that's a huge resource base for anything research, technology, innovation. But then you have the disconnect between what is going on within the research environment, the knowledge institution, and industry. And as where NOTAP comes in again, that gap, that valley, we say you cannot go to the heaven's gate by ensuring that that gap remains like that. So what do we do? Industry, you have need. NOTAP regulates industry. NOTAP regulates the registration of tech transfer by industry. So we see the need and the gap for which industry is looking for technology. On the other hand, NOTAP people interface with the knowledge institution. Knowledge institution A, are you aware that industry B is in need of a technology for this water? So if you are not aware, we have the compendium, we have the database of which we are sharing with the knowledge institutions, whereby the whole idea is let the research works, the research topics, especially at postgraduate level, be industry dependent, industry demanded, need driven. So that in doing that, we could be able to now begin to bridge the gap. And I'm happy to announce, through this particular intervention, 3 key projects came up. One is the NOTAP Industry Technology Transfer Fellowship. The fellowship is a scholarship scheme in partnership with industry, championed by the man I referred to here again, Dr. Umar Bindri. And what would we say? By the time industry had identified this need, industry agrees to sponsor it as a scholarship. And we make available the scholarship information to the society through Committee of Vice Chancellor, Nigerian Universities, Committee of Directors of Research Institutes, so that Nigerians aspiring to go for doctorate degree program can apply. And then a committee will see it, they defend, the applicants will defend the best of it. We win that scholarship to do the research. The research result belongs to industry.
So what's the percentage of people that do end up wanting to do PhD?
There are 24 beneficiaries currently that are in the program. About five of them have graduated already. And I want to report one of them, a lady that undertook that project, came up with a product for, permit me to mention their name, Nestle Nigeria PLC, for a winning formulation. Mothers here know that by the time you are winning a baby, there's need to have a proper winning formulation. The unique thing about this winning formulation is that the scholarship stipulated it must be based on a local raw material. That product is about to hit the market right now. Because it's not enough to do the research work, it's not enough to get the patent for it, but for us it's better have the patent and then get to the end of the route by commercializing it and having it in the market. Quickly, the last point of it, if you have the human capital developed to run the research, what about the research infrastructure state? Most of our laboratories are in a very dilapidated state. Again, through the partnership with industry, we have what we call the NOTAP Industry Research Laboratory Upgrade. When I started, I mentioned that my DG is somewhere in Benin. We all tell the story of the palm oil. Malaysia came and took palm oil. But there's one particular neighbor we have, we didn't know, that equally came to Nigeria and picked up palm oil seed technology, Cameroon. And right now, Cameroon is ruling Africa with palm oil seed. So my DG is with NIFO currently. There's a proposal for a research laboratory center of excellence to be established at NIFO through NOTAP Industry Partnership. We are hoping that through that NIFO can be reactivated, revived, and be able to restore our palm oil industry. There are quite some other aspects of it.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much. Because we've got just a few minutes left. Yes, it deserves an applause because when we look at what he's saying that NOTAP is doing, is quite commendable. But that takes me to that point where I remember way back in the 1990s when Tony Blair was the Prime Minister in the United Kingdom and made the decision that UK will no longer do business as usual and that they're going to move into e-government. Today, every service you can think of, you want to have a printing of your planning permission or whatever it is, everything is available online. And that has taken them to that different level where they operate, where you don't have to leave your house before you can do anything. Online, you can do practically everything you want to do in the UK today. And I think the same applies to a number of countries. But why I'm referring to this is because my previous life meant that I also moved from mass communication to go into IT. I had to go and do Oracle database administration training, do Oracle SQL, do PLSQL, do C++, and all the other programming languages so that I can be a part of that number of people that took advantage of that movement. Now, I would ask you, Dr. Tunde Koka, based on what Mr. Jegede said about the Chinese, when they want to do things like this, they will have hundreds and thousands of millions of young Chinese being trained very quickly to be able to do the nitty-gritty of the stuff. And what we hear NOTAP is doing is affecting 5 here, 1 there, 7 here, 10 here. How do we begin to activate something that makes it possible? Data center, you said there are many of them. How many universities in Nigeria today are rolling out thousands of young Nigerians who are focused on working in data center, even for the most menial of data center responsibilities?
Well, permit me to look at the broad technology space because there's a whole stack, the physical infrastructure with, the data centers and the kind of skill sets you need. Actually, it's pretty broad because you've got engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and so on. But then you've got the connectivity that goes around that. Okay, we've got to wire up the country. The Federal Ministry of Innovation and Digital Communications and Digital Economy have a variety of initiatives going on. One is this 90,000 kilometer project to get fiber into the country. That's been announced. There's also these 3 MTT, 3 million technology skills build in a whole range of areas. Coding and software development, which is what I meant by coding. Areas of, AI, technology development. So there are initiatives that are ongoing to significantly grow the skill sets that we have in the digital economy as a whole. Okay.
Say the numbers are adding up?
They're adding up, and they're initiatives. However, one of the things I say quite often is that we have a huge young talent pool of very, very bright young people in the economy. And people talk about JAPA as an issue and so on. And I say, well, if someone, your child comes and says, I've just had this great job offer from Canada and they're, paying for my fare, I've got a contract even for my family, the schools I've been there, sometimes, this stuff is done, right? Are you going to say no? No, I mean, you go praise worship in church the next day or whatever religion you follow, right? So, and you can't stop people who are being given global career opportunities. In fact, what happens is it turns into a brain gain, because then that turns into diaspora and income in different ways. What we need to do, and usually I call it the leadership context, is to tap into this fantastic resource pool of young, bright people that we have and build them up. It's what I do in many instances that says, as soon as someone leaves, one, you need to make sure that your reputation as an employer, other people want to come to you. But systemically, you need to pull through, whether it's in coding or other aspects of manufacturing technology, so on, those skill sets to be able to build them up and replace what you've lost. And we've shown in many, many ways that we can build world-class skill sets from the talent we have. There's a lot of talent pool we have that are actually operating from here, but developing code and so on for international companies. Okay, that's happening. There's a lot of that happening, but what we have to do is to build the sustainable frameworks, okay, that will continue to grow how we bring young talent into a whole area of lots of areas of technology capability across in the digital economy, and I think also in the manufacturing economy. Because there are many aspects of skill sets that we have in those areas. We have to invest in those skill sets. I have one example of an individual went to school here, university here, developed here in the data center business, he actually won globally, right, Data Center Manager of the Year, globally. It wasn't African data, it was an award he received in the UK. And I always use that as a testament of, with the right leadership context, how we can drive and grow our own people here to achieve world class. Across the board as well, if you look at outsourcing, business process outsourcing, technology management outsourcing is actually growing significantly, okay? We have companies that will provide services internationally for business process outsourcing from here, just like it's done in India. Yeah. Do you know, when you speak to people, they do say actually that they find Nigerian outsourcing companies to actually be ethical, well-managed, operate to right level of contractual obligations. But we don't see so much of that, but a lot of that is happening. But I always couch these things by saying, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do more in all of the areas of skills development.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I've just been signaled. We have to wrap up now, but as I do just that, I would very quickly go to Mr. Ipaye. Your final word in just 1 minute. What will be that one? There's no bullet, no single bullet that handles everything. There's no such thing. But what will be that one thing you think will help to advance sustainable innovation in our economy in Nigeria today that you will put on the table and say, this will, even if it is just shifted slightly, what will be that one that you think will be of great help?
Okay, thank you. So, for me, I think it would be for the public-private partnership, especially with the government. And from our experience, the government, they are doing well, but they still need to do more in terms of encouraging the local, vendors in terms of those infrastructures, softwares that are doing. Now, a lot of, we have executive orders that have been given out from the past from past presidents, and also I think some came out also. But enforcement is very, very key. They need to enforce it. You still find some ministry, departments and agencies of government that are still making use of foreign applications, while the executive order says that you look inwards.
Local content.
Local content,
Okay.
to be able to, encourage the local content. Yes.
Minister is not there, but DG is here and a few other people. Mr. Jegede, your own single sentence to just say, what will be that? I have a feeling it's probably going to be education. What would it be from your perspective? Very quickly, we got to wrap up now.
I'll disappoint you. I'll say equipment. The manufacturers in Nigeria need the right equipment that are produced in Nigeria and that have support in Nigeria. I think that, for me, is what I'll put on the table. And this is what my organization does, VDMA. It's not a company. It's like MAN also. It's an association of companies, over 3,600 of them, who are into manufacturing of equipment that manufacturers use in 36 different sectors. VDMA is the biggest such association in the whole of Europe. So it's huge. And we are here to sell equipment to you and also to partner with you, right? If you have here any company that is manufacturing equipment in Nigeria and is looking for a technical partner from Germany, then you should talk to me.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your final word, Mr. Dada, in just 1 or 2 sentences.
The first man said what I wanted to say, but I will repeat it. Policy implementation. So if we are saying Africa first, this your suit is not Africa first, neither is mine.
Yeah.
So we need to ensure that those policies are well implemented in all areas and facets of our industry.
I guess our ladies are more likely to wear the Africa first. I can see the beautiful ladies wearing Nigerian outfit all the way. We guys end up with suits. So, Mr. Oji, your final word in just 1 or 2
We need to
sentences.
strengthen research to industry linkage. And then local vendor policy is very much available. I'm addressing the first point that have been raised. NOTAP has that, whereby Dr. Koka here is part of the products of a computer warehouse group. 40% of the maintenance fee paid to a Nigerian IT firm that must partner with a foreign IT supplier. And then there's an effective compliance, and the enforcement right now is no more the same as it used to be before. Finally, styrofoam have been banned in Lagos. That's an opportunity for the manufacturing sector. Let's look inward, get the local raw material that could give us an alternative to styrofoams. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Koka.
Yes.
1 sentence.
How do you build on that? I think one comment I made earlier on, we just got to figure out how to innovate out of this and build.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please join me in saying a big thank you by massive round of applause for the gentlemen on this platform for all the conversation we've just had. So, the MCs, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We're done.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Please don't leave the podium yet because there's going to be a group photograph. Please, can we have the group photograph? We allowed you to take enough time because of the crucial import of this particular theme, which is enhancing sustainable innovation and technology transfer in manufacturing, which of course we know has given up a lot of things, brought up problems, and the need for collaboration, and R&D and digitization. So at this point in time, I want to also invite the DGs. The two DGs here present, please can you come and join the DG Raw Materials, Professor Nanyele Monso. Please can you come forward? And thereafter, we'll unleash the lionesses in the house. She's been putting a lot of pressure, and all our ladies are giving me some smoldering stares. Don't worry, the time is right now. We want to see the ladies come forward. So, Tayo, please, can you mount the rostrum and let's see how well you drive this one.
Thank you so much. Please, let's put your hands together for the speakers, the moderators. Thank you for doing an amazing and excellent job. Thank you so much, sirs. All right, thank you so much. If you are not in this hall, I think you need to be here seated because the next session is about to blow your mind. This is the session that we all have been waiting for. And good enough, we don't only want women, we want men to also be here to listen to these amazing women who would definitely blow your mind. I'd like to very quickly invite our distinguished Amazons to take their seats upstage. Then the session speaker would lead with a presentation, after which the moderator would take over the conversation. The women on these sessions are one who do not need any form of introduction. They all have their online footprints. So they are best to say, just Google them. When you Google them, you see all the amazing things. Because if I go ahead to do that, we clearly would not have enough time for you to listen to all the nuggets you need to take away from them. And the good thing about them is that they are people that have learned one thing or the other from them. So it's clearly not talk. It is actually reality. And they'll be bringing their reality to bear. It would be nice that you take advantage of all that they will be sharing this afternoon. So first, I'd like to invite the session speaker to come and take a seat upstage. Then I would invite other panelists. Then we go straight to the business of the day as we look at enhancing the growth mindsets of women in manufacturing. So first, the session speaker, let's put our hands together as we make welcome the delectable Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Noxy Limited, Mrs. Ngozi Oyewole. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you so much. She wears, you know, some people will say they wear 4, 3, 5. She wears multiple caps. Multiple caps. Just Google the name Ngozi Oyewole, then you will see what I'm saying. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us at this event. The session speaker. And of course, the panelists would speak to our slides and engage with us effectively. Next to join our session speaker is the moderator for this session, another delectable woman doing wonders in our sector. Please let's put our hands together for the founder, CEO, Vicky Healthen Group, Dr. Victoria Onjoko. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Victoria Onjoko. I'm so proud to be moderating this session. You don't know what this means to me. There are women who make womanhood proud, and we're indeed very glad to learn from them. Next is another woman who walks the talk in her sector. She's the largest in her field. So please, let's put our hands together for the CEO, FAE Limited. No other person than Princess Layo Bakari Okeowo. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being a part of this event. And the final member of the panel session is online. She's not available to be here physically, but she's been online all through this program started. She's the CEO, Sojaj Renewable Energy Limited. That's Ajia Abiba Ali. Please, let's put your hands together. Can you please beam her on the screen? Thank you so much. Okay, I'm on the screen. That's not Ajia, that's me. So she would come on the screen shortly, and moderator will do well to engage her. So we'll do with the women here and, of course, the women online. So let's take a good listen, a very, very good listen to these amazing women. So I'd like to invite the session speaker to start with our presentation. Then we roll over to other items. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Omotayo. If you're a woman here, you should be very proud of yourself to be here, because women are doing great things, and it's always a pleasure to showcase the strength of women, especially the ones in manufacturing. Just to add, firstly, we will delve into what a growth mindset means and how it empowers women to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth and learning in an industry that is constantly evolving. Adopting this mindset is crucial for personal and professional development. Secondly, we will address the current challenges faced by women in the manufacturing sector, from bureaucratic hurdles and access to finance to navigating new tax policies and the complexities of the African continental trade area after. These obstacles can seem daunting. However, they also present unique opportunities for innovation and resilience. Our focus today will be on how women can adapt and thrive in this dynamic landscape. By fostering a growth mindset, we can not only overcome challenges, but also unlock our potential, driving progress and success in the manufacturing sector. So, let's embark on this journey together. Understanding the growth mindset. We need to begin to ask ourselves, what is a growth mindset truly? A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and intelligence are not fixed traits. Rather, they can be developed through dedication, hard work, and perseverance. This perspective shifts the focus from a fear of failure to a passion for learning and growth. Importance for women in manufacturing. Now, let's explore why this mindset is particularly important for women in manufacturing. It encourages resilience in the face of industry challenges such as fluctuating markets, regulatory changes, technological advancement. A growth mindset empowers women to bounce back from setbacks. It fosters a sense of resilience, enabling them to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. It promotes adaptability. The manufacturing landscape is continuously evolving, driven by innovation and changing consumer demands. Embracing a growth mindset encourages women to adapt to these changes with agility. It fosters a culture of continuous learning where they are motivated to acquire new skills and knowledge, ensuring they remain relevant and competitive in their field. By cultivating a growth mindset, women in manufacturing can not only enhance their own careers, but also contribute to a more innovative and resilient industry overall. Let's enhance this mindset to drive our success and the success of our organizations. Slide. Next slide. Yeah. the current landscape of women in manufacturing. As we examine the current landscape, it's important to note that women make up approximately 20 to 30% of the workforce in Nigeria's manufacturing sector. This percentage can vary significantly depending on the specific industry. While this figure shows progress, it also highlights the need to continued advocacy and support to increase women's participation in the vital sector. The impact of gender diversity. Now, let's consider the impact of gender diversity in manufacturing. Research consistently shows that diverse teams drive diverse innovation and enhance problem-solving capabilities. When women are included in decision-making processes, organizations benefit from a variety of perspectives and ideas, leading to improved organizational performance. This diversity not only fosters a more inclusive workplace, but also results in better business outcomes, allowing companies to thrive in a competitive market. Next slide. However, despite these advancements, women in manufacturing still face significant obstacles. Bureaucratic red tape often leads to delays in obtaining permits and licenses, hindering business operations. Additionally, many women-owned small and medium enterprises, SMEs, struggle with limited access to finance, primarily due to lack of collateral and financial literacy. Effects of women entrepreneurs. The effects of these challenges can be profound. Women entrepreneurs often find themselves navigating a more difficult path compared to their male counterparts. This results in lower success rates and can discourage many women from pursuing their business goals. It's crucial that we identify these obstacles and work collaboratively to find solutions that empower women and create a more equitable business environment in the manufacturing sector. By addressing these barriers, we can unlock the full potential of women in manufacturing and drive meaningful change across the industry. Next slide. The new tax review policy. It's a fantastic policy, perfect for women in the nano and some of the SMEs. However, as we look at the recent tax review policy, it's also crucial to understand that these reforms may introduce increased rates or new compliance requirements. That's not to say that the tax policy won't work. It's what we need. But it's important for women-led businesses. These reforms can create a financial strain on on the larger business owners. The added burden of compliance may make it increasingly difficult for women entrepreneurs to thrive. But we've been told that there are many, many ways that this can help businesses. And what women need is proper education, understanding the new tax review, so that we will comply with these regulations effectively. Empowering women with this information will help them navigate the complexities of the tax landscape and safeguard their businesses. So more education is needed in this area to clarify things for the women. And so, next slide. Opportunities offered by AFCFT. The African Continental Free Trade Area presents a remarkable opportunity for women in manufacturing, with access to a market of over 1.2 billion consumers. Women entrepreneurs can expand their reach and promote trade across the continent. This can lead to increased sales, partnerships, and growth potential. We have to understand the rules of origin. A critical aspect of leveraging AFCFTA is understanding the rules of origin for women manufacturers, ensuring that their products qualify for potential and preferential tariffs is essential for maintaining competitive pricing in international markets. By staying informed about these rules, women can take full advantages of the opportunities that AFCFT provides, positioning their business for success. Next slide. Current forex challenges. The fluctuating value of the naira against major currencies continues to pose significant challenges for manufacturers. This unpredictability leads to increased costs for importing raw materials and equipment, which can severely affect profitability. For many manufacturers, particularly those reliant on imports, the rising costs can squeeze profit margins. To mitigate this forex risk, women in manufacturing can adopt strategies such as local sourcing of materials. So we need to really, the raw materials organization should need to come and work with women in manufacturing, because backward integration is really what is important to industrialize Nigeria. And the women in manufacturing are willing and able to fire. So additionally, exploring options for hedging against currency fluctuations can provide a buffer against the volatility of the forex market. So we're also calling on CBN to also create an environment, a conversation with women in these areas. Next slide. To thrive in today's manufacturing environment, it's essential to emphasize skills development through targeted workshops and training programs. These initiatives should be tailored specifically for women, focusing on both technical and entrepreneurial skills. Building robust support system is vital for success. Mentorship programs can foster connections among women, providing guidance and opening doors to new opportunities. By learning from one another, women can share insights and best practices that drive success. So basically, what we are asking is an enabling environment for us to thrive. So encouraging women to actively participate in policy discussions is very crucial. By advocating for favorable conditions for women-owned business, we can collectively work towards creating a more supportive environment that empowers women in manufacturing. Women need a seat on the table. You can't decide for them. When you give them an opportunity, and they'll tell you what they need and how they can thrive. So, opportunity. Slide. Let's take a moment to celebrate the achievements of women in manufacturing. Case studies of successful leaders such as Faye, sitting down there, her story is something that has told us that we can do it as women. There are other women like Mrs. Adenike Ogunlesi, who does children's clothes. Today we know where she is. The moderator sitting down there, Dr. Njoku. I mean, she's an architect, but she makes bags. She manufactures bags. The leather is sourced from Nigeria. There's so many success stories. I'm not going to forget myself. Noxie was just a simple household business where I was selling from the boot of my car. Today, the story is different. It's Noxie Limited. And today, Noxie Limited has other things, and we're also into what? Energy, PPEs, and so on. So we've actually done well in our space. Thank you very much. So from these success stories, we can draw key insights, including the importance of resilience, the power of innovation, and the value of commitment, support in overcoming challenges. These lessons are invaluable, and as we navigate our own paths in manufacturing. Going to the final bit. So, last slide. So I urge all women here today, and the men, who are partners. You're not behind. We can't work without, we can work, but we'll always acknowledge your support in what we do. And so, today, to pursue leadership roles within the manufacturing sector, if you haven't joined MAN, please join MAN. If you're a manufacturer, join MAN. There's the CIMA, there's NECA, but we need to really be in places of leadership to showcase our strength. Take steps toward personal and professional growth, whether through education, networking, advocating for your business. Let's commit to supporting one another, dear women. By collaborating, sharing resources, we can overcome common challenges and create a stronger network of women in manufacturing. Together, we can uplift each other and drive change in the industry so that the men will see how much our potentials are. So to recap in closing, I encourage us all to embrace a growth mindset as a powerful tool to navigate challenges and leverage opportunities such as AFCFTA, continuous learning, and community support are essential to driving success in our endeavors. Together, we have the potential to enhance the growth mindset of women in manufacturing, leading to transformative change in Nigeria's economy. Let's continue to support ourselves and strive for excellence in all we do. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
That applause could be a lot more powerful than we did. Please, let's put your hands together. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you for sharing very wonderfully from your experience. And just one thing she said that sparked my mind is that Noxy started as a household business. And Noxy today is an household name. Like I said, just Google it and you will find out. So I'll hand over to the moderator to take on the session and engage the women.
Okay. Good day, everyone. It is an honor to moderate this section that brings together incredible women, and I am so elated about it. It brings together incredible women who are thriving in the manufacturing sector in excellence, resilience, and innovation. And our focus today is very, very important. It's an important situation that we have to always take note of, which has to do with enhancing the growth mindset of women in manufacturing. This is in-depth. Enhancing the growth of a mindset of women in manufacturing is essential not only for individuals, but also for fostering innovation, inclusivity, and long-term historic male-dominated industry. So it's actually something we have to start discussing and seeing how we can transcend from one level to another with the right mindset as women in manufacturing. So I would direct my first question to Princess Layo, Mrs. Princess Layo Bakari. I would like to ask you, can you share a time when embracing a growth mindset helped you overcome challenges in your company? The microphone.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. First and foremost, I would like to digress a little bit because I love that thing, mindset. If I'm told to define mindset, one, I'll look at self-pity, especially we women. We should stop self-pity. Oh, I'm not able to do this. I'm not able to do that. No. Have a lot of confidence in yourself. build up that mindset that you are a go-getter. Then 2, I would want to talk to our men to embrace us. Of course, as Africans, we will respect you as men, as our husbands, and as our fathers. But please, let's start our men to be a he for she. Help us grow. Now, going back to your question, madam, I'll look at it as it's a day-to-day thing that I have every day. Everywhere, every nooks and corners, the oppression is there as a woman. But because I've already had that mindset that I'm a go-getter, I must get what I want. Then 2, education. I educate myself. I educate myself almost every day. Then 3, I have mentors, and I also have mentees that I even learn from. I think we women, with due respect to us, we don't want to talk to each other, but it's always good to talk to each other. If I meet you today, later in the evening, I'll send you a text. Good evening, it's nice meeting you. That's where your networking starts, because then you can grow yourself, you can grow your business. And also, which is very, very important, we shouldn't have the habit of walking away. Walking away shows weakness. If you walk away, walk back, and you will see you will win. And also, which is most important, let us have that empathy for each other, especially we women. Let's have empathy to talk to women who even are not as big as you, that are not as rich as you. Make them your mentees and accept the ones that are even more educated than you, that are in the corridors of power. Make them your friend. Sky is your limit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. This was well dissected, and I believe that we have been able to visualize things differently. My question will go to Ms. Ngozi. So I'd like to ask, what limiting beliefs did you have to unlearn as a woman in a traditionally male-dominated industry?
For you to thrive, you've got to take away fear. Fear is the first thing that just pulls you down in anything. You have to have a purpose, a vision, your goals. How huge are those? How huge is your appetite to do business? It has to be big, so big that people will be afraid. So big, so big, so big. You want to do something. Don't look at what people are going to say. There'll be the naysayers at the corner. In the Bible, you have the Sanballats. What you want to do is look at the end, that big vision that you have, and stay focused. Unfortunately, I'm not somebody who, I dare everything I want to do. If you say, oh, there's a mountain there, I'll ask you, did somebody climb it? And if somebody did, my mother would say, does the person have 2 heads? So you know what? I go for it. In my industry as a manufacturer of office furniture, i.e., honorable carpenter, you meet men You don't go fighting them. You put what you have in here down. When you put it on the table, they work with you. When they say equality is not going to go and fight, it's not. It's what you have here that can complement what the next person or even the male gender is there and working. You go, when you're on the board, I'm on the board of ITF representing man. And I think we're just 2 women and the rest are men. So when you go in there with this tiny voice and they're all saying their own, you keep quiet. You listen. And when it's your turn, you bring out what you have here and put it down on the table. And they'll hear you. So limiting yourself to doing anything you want to do, please, my first rule of it is take away fear. Have a full knowledge of the business you're going into. You can't give what you don't have. And then have a drive, a mad drive that nobody can stop you and say, this vision, no matter the valley, not the mountain, you will get it. And then be aware in your environment, what is the government expecting you to have? Once the statutory requirements of the government around your business is intact, you will thrive. You will thrive. Nothing will stop you. Somebody says to you, oh, I want to give you a job. And then says, what do you want? I don't know anything. Hello? How can it be anything? Be precise. And they say, oh, can you do this? Do you have your tax paper? Yes. NSITF? Yes. PENCOM? Yes. Whatever. Yes. BPP? Yes. The new government policy would give you they're obliged to give you the job. The new Nigeria policy says you must register as a contractor. They will give it to you. Now, not that you're not going to face those stereotype biases. They're there. Again, you will have the wisdom to walk around it. Being aggressive does not make you look good. Shouting brings your personality down. But knowing that I walk into the raw materials office and I say to him, my sister used to know you. So now I need to fix the furniture in your office. You're not going to ask me more questions. Again, I'm leveraging on what? Family, relationship. These things work around the world. People, you need to be known. You're not going to be hiding behind and saying, I'm afraid. How did they take me? I will not. I'll walk straight into his office and say to him, I'm Chidima's older sister. And I'm into office furniture. So use what you have to get what you need or want. There's no need to be afraid. Networking. Walk to somebody. My name is Ngozi Yewole. I'm the founder of Noxy Limited. Today, my son, Sheung, is running Noxy Limited. There's a succession plan put in place. He's running Noxy Limited. But we have the energy sector. And they're running the energy sector also. But still a manufacturer because you have to be innovative. Even within what I'm doing, as a woman manufacturer, you must thrive and be more innovative. Keep learning, like Princess says. Keep growing within yourself. Keep asking questions. Keep studying. Keep getting certifications. I spoke to another sister of mine, Hilda, this morning, and she said to me, women have to do, she's a trainer, ESG. And I said to her, Hilda, I work in the energy space. I have ESG certification. High five. It's not being proud. Do not feel that saying your achievement is being proud. If you don't speak, people will not know what you know or what you have. Have is not money. Have is knowledge. So you must learn to look at those fears that you think will limit you. Oh, if I approach this man, what will he say about me? If I approach this woman, what will she say about me? If I walk into an office, what will he say about me? So I have had an opportunity. Give me 1 minute only. It's okay, 1 minute more. I've had an opportunity in my early years of doing business. I woke up one day and we didn't have money. My husband said he was jogging to work. He used to work in Western House. He was jogging to work. So I believed in, I said, okay. When I looked in the room and I saw that, he forgot a paper, and I read it. And he was ready to give me all he had, and the car, and he walked to work, because from Dolphin through Camp Salem House was Broad Street. I don't know how he did it. I got into the car and took off to MPA. I had a tow rope in my hand. I didn't know who the MD was, but I was determined to speak to somebody, and I looked at which company would need this. When I got there, the secretary thought I was mad, and I said, I'd like to meet your MD. And she was looking at me, who is this mad nursing mother? But I was determined to he walked out, seen of somebody, turned around, and I beamed a smile. Again, this is my smile, see it wins hearts. When you have excess luggage at the airport, smile. So this man looked at me and said, I walked into his office. Lo and behold, his wife went to Federal Government College with me. I said, I know your wife. Then he looked at me, really? So, madam, how can I help you? I said, I have this tow rope. He said, oh, this was a contract you gave somebody. Are you aware? I said, I'm not aware of it, but me, I have this tow rope. Cut my story short. What I quoted was ridiculous, because what I bought was very, so I thought I quoted according to how I bought. And he thought it was fake, because what somebody else quoted was so high. And he called and said, go and check that PO. Give it to me. Has it been issued? She said, no, sir. Bring it. Then they took my tow rope and tested, and it was even better than the man's own. And he said to me, can you deliver 1,000 of these for us? The guy quoted 15,000 naira. I quoted 900. You know what the man did for me? He said, if you give this your 900, you will look fake. So, we will give you 13,000 naira. I said, remember, I'm coming from a zero. 13,000 naira. And you know the next question? We'll run a PO for you. And I said, I don't have money. You don't have money? No. The banks will not borrow me any money. The banks have tossed me out a couple of times. These are challenges you face as a new business. Would it discourage you? The answer is no. And I looked at him in the face and I said to him, I think I could go back to my husband and get a collateral. He looked at me, he said, Ngozi, I will support you. I will stand in. That has never happened. And they paid me upfront all the money. But then integrity was the next thing that I had to play. I had to have an integrity. I couldn't disappoint him. Somebody has stuck his neck out. He's at the top. He's only known me, and I said, I know your wife. He calls his wife. The wife says, oh, when we were in school, we'll go, because she's from the north, it's too far. And Ngozi will take me back to their house in Port Harcourt. And that's all. The kindness shows, again, empathy you've shown one time in your life will always speak for you one day.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking us through your trajectory, your business trajectory, and relationship generally. Because you see, relationship plays a crucial role, a pivotal role in everything that we do. How we communicate with human beings is very important, and how you sustain those relationships is also imperative. So now I'll move to the final question to Mrs. Princess. How can companies create a culture where women feel safe to take risks and learn from their failures?
The only way you can keep to culture is having empathy. One, for example, I have a crash in the factory. The reason the reason why I have a creche is that for every woman, they love their children. So my staffs, my women staff in the factory, all they just need to do is to drive to the factory, drop their child in the creche, and go to work. And when it's their break time, they come back to the creche, look at their son or their daughter. So they have rest of mind. For example, 2 weeks ago, I just celebrated a woman who has worked with us for 32 years. Because turnover of staff, some people feel, oh, I hire, I fire. But the only thing that gives me rest of mind is because I make my staffs happy. Because when it comes to envelope manufacturing, the only reason why FAE Limited is the largest envelope manufacturer in West Africa today is because 70% of my staffs, they are women. I'm sorry, with due respect to you men, it's not as if I hate men. But when it comes to envelope making, you need to be very, very thorough. You need to be detailed. And the machine I use is what they use in Germany. I don't see anything special in what they are doing in Europe. But for so many manufacturers, we should look at the issue of quality very, very serious. So that is the reason why we are the largest. That is the reason why we are on top. And that is the reason that look into 10 offices today. You find FAE envelopes 9 out of 10. Although you didn't ask me this question, but I just want to mention it because I can see you are almost rounding up. I wish the minister was here, but I know that the DG is somewhere and our DG for raw material research is here. We need, although you might say, oh, ours is raw material, but if everybody keeps on singing that song, it will sing. You will agree with me that you men, you have the collateral to forward to the banks when it comes to money lending. We want the government to create policies for women when it comes to funding. At least let them guarantee us. Am I saying your voice, women in the hall?
Yes, you are.
Guarantee us when it comes to collateral. We don't have that collateral to borrow. Don't see us that, oh, we are weak. But when you Google it, even if 10 men borrows, if 10 men borrows, maybe 4 will pay back. But when we borrow, 9 of us will pay back. So please, we need that policy to encourage us as women so that we will be able to perform. You can see that we are making waves, we are making glasses, and we are doing very, very well. And that is why almost all the banks now have women as their CEOs. And you can see now that banks are thriving because women are in charge.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that insightful information given to us and the in-depth knowledge you've been able to grasp from that. My question will be going to Hajiya Habiba Ali. She's joining us online. She's the CEO of Sosaj Renewable Energy. So my question is, what strategies can we put in place to help women combat imposter syndrome in high skill or leadership roles? Can she hear us? Okay. Let me take the question again. What are some strategies to help women combat imposter syndrome in high skill or leadership roles? Okay, I don't think she's okay. Okay, she is? Okay. Okay. Okay, can she unmute her device so we can hear her clearly? She's actually talking.
For me, as a manufacturer in the green industry, being a renewable energy business owner, there's sorry, 1 minute please. I just want to mute the there's echoing from my end here because I'm using 2 devices to ensure. 1 minute please. Okay, so as I was saying, in Nigeria, when you talk about imposter syndrome of women in the manufacturing industry, I would like to look at it when I talk about the women driving green industrial revolution. And this is for businesses in manufacturing and renewable energy companies and industries in Nigeria. As we all know, manufacturing is evolving, and nowhere is that more clear than in renewable energy sector. From solar panel assembly to energy efficient appliance productions to clean energy manufacturing, this is not only creating new markets, it is opening up doors for women to be. And for you to be able to fight imposter syndrome is for you to always remind yourself that wherever I find myself, this is where I belong, and I see a problem is why I'm coming here with a solution for it. In the renewable energy space, I've seen how a growth mindset that belief that the skills and intelligence can be developed empowers women to break into male-dominated spaces. I started my business in 2010, and I was the first female business owner in renewable energy. And this didn't scare me at all. I didn't even think about it as a business in that time. I think what I was looking at mostly was that this is a business that is going to solve problems. And I think for everybody who is looking at how to remove the imposter syndrome, always ask yourself the question, is what I am doing solving a problem? Is it needed? Am I in the right place? And if you are able to answer at least 2 yeses to these questions, then know that you do not owe anybody any reasons to hide, right? In another way, whether it is learning to design off-grid systems, managing projects, or running solar mini-grid operations, we have shown up with resilience, curiosity, and determination. As I said, I'm going to come at it from the green revolution area and renewable energy, which is my business. This sector is so young, which makes it a powerful equalizer. We are not just filling jobs, we are shaping the future. And with a growth mindset, it is not optional at all. You do not have time to waste time and be thinking, am I supposed to be here? Do I belong here? There's no time for that. It is the engine that drives innovation. It is the engine that drives adaptability and leadership in this new manufacturing era. So all women need to own their space, realize that and recognize that they belong here, and do not even think about what they are not doing right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Hajia Habiba Ali. Thank you so much for this insightful details on how to champion or overcome imposter syndrome as a woman in the industry. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been an insightful conversation. I believe we all learned a thing or two, and we became enlightened to what it means to enhance the growth mindset in women, of women in manufacturing. Once again, it is an honor and a blessing to be moderating this section, bringing together incredible convergence of great women who are impacting their industry, the manufacturing industry to be precise, through resilience, excellence, and innovation. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Victory Njoku. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, a resounding applause for the amazing women. Thank you so much for sharing value. They'll have a quick group photograph, after which we can move on to the next session. But this was indeed amazing. After the women take a photo, would like to invite the DG RMRDC and the honorary treasurer of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria to join.
Executive Officer of Nairametric, Mr. Ugochukwu Obichukwu. Please put your hands together. Okay, I'm sure he's coming in. Then we have the session speaker who's addressing this topic. Okay, so let me, the next panelist is going to be the Chief Executive Officer of ProPack, George Pearson. Please put your hands together for Mr. George Pearson. You're very much welcome, sir. And of course, joining them on the panel is also Senior Trade Consultant, West Africa, VDMA, Mr. Kayode Jegede. Please, another round of applause for Mr. Jegede. And then finally, we have the Head Sales and Partnerships, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises and Corporates, Leatherback Limited, Mr. Michael Asahin. Please put your hands
Please, let's put your hands together for them. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We are indeed elated to have you on board. And so you would love to ask questions, right? Okay, so maybe let's do this last session. If we can still wait behind, we can engage the women. Yes. Thank you so much. The founder of Nairametrics would be moderating this session. And one good thing is that we'll just keep the main presentation, and the moderator will do justice to just engage each of our panelists on areas that they are very conversant in. The Consul General of India, Sri Chandamoli Kumar Ken, is also expected to be here. Leatherback is here, right? Okay, Leatherback is here. So the Nairametrics founder and CEO is the moderator. All right, so Nairametrics is still on his way. Madam Obi, you wanted to ask a question. Okay, so let's quickly have your question. Let's use that to buy some time. No, they've not left. Ngozi Oyewole is here. Princess Okewo is still here. You can always ask them later. All right. Thank you so much. So we'll wait for the Nairametrics CEO to start this. If the session speaker was here, we could have had him make his presentation. Or maybe I should just moderate, right? All right. Nairametrics CEO will join us later. Welcome once again, gentlemen. It's really nice having you on board. And like the session topic says, leveraging international partnerships for manufacturing advancement. So pretty much, we just want to glean on your experience, what you do, and how leveraging partnership has worked for you. So I'll start with the person on my immediate left. That's George of ProPack. ProPack is a successful project or business or expo, whatever it is you want to call it. So we'd like to learn from you how leveraging partnership has helped you in the many, many years of running ProPack West Africa.
Okay, thank you, Omatayo, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. Just to give you a quick background from myself, I'm the Regional Director for West Africa for AfroSet Montgomery. We're part of the Montgomery Group, which is a global exhibition organizer. We've had roots in Africa now for over 60 years, starting in South Africa. We then opened an office in Nigeria 12 years ago, and we also have offices in Nairobi, Kenya as well. We run a range of exhibitions, trade fairs across Africa, but our leading portfolio really is this Propac brand. Propac started in Johannesburg 50 years ago. We moved it to Cape Town. Not me personally, but it went to Cape Town. I brought it to Nigeria in 2013. So effectively what this exhibition is, it's a manufacturing exhibition specifically focused on packaging, processing, plastic packaging, print and labeling. And I can recall when we first came into Nigeria, we had, I think, 25 exhibitors, and we got around 300 visitors. And this was really the start, you know, and a lot of exhibitions have minimal expectations, but, you know, we saw Nigeria as a huge opportunity to bring this event to West Africa. And just to give you a comparison, our event, 12th edition, is running next month in September. This year, we have 285 exhibitors from over 37 countries, and we expect over 6,000 visitors coming to the show. And I think that's really testament to, you know, the growth and the confidence, not just in Nigeria, but the international market, the confidence that the markets have on the manufacturing sector. I think just to answer your question, Omotayo, you know, for me, we are effectively a facilitator. You know, we create a platform for international companies to come to Nigeria, some who have been here for a long time, some for the first time. And I think, you know, there's a number of things that we play there in terms of, you know, the longer standing exhibitors, the longer standing companies can use this platform to meet with existing clients, meet with new clients, and enhance and further their relationships and business that they can have with the buyers of the manufacturing sector. But also, I think where the key benefit for our platform is, it's bringing in those new international companies, you know, and some of them, they may be thinking that Nigeria is a market they want to get into, but they may have some reservations, you know, it's just a new market for them. But what we can offer is a 3-day platform where we organize everything for them to come in, right from them coming off the plane to where they're staying in the hotel, to them bringing over this year, 6,000 of their potential buyers right to them, to their exhibition stand. And I think that for me is one of the most important things that we play in the market, is that, you know, maybe there's 50 companies that come for the first time. They meet, they see some potential partners, potential new business that they can do, and then they come back to Nigeria. But we have given them that platform to essentially start off their journey, business journey in Nigeria. And I think for me, in terms of the international partners, that's one of the most important things that we play as an event coming in.
Thank you so much. Please let's put your hands together for him. Just to confirm, if the CEO of Nairametrics, is this here yet? All right, how about Trandamoli, Indian Consul General? In 2 minutes, okay. So maybe I should just sit as a placeholder. When they come, I would just stand up, because we need to get the conversation going. And thank you so much, George. And it's nice to glean on your experience. It's safe to Nigerian, given the level of interest and the success you've gleaned on over the years. And thank you so much for sharing. So I'd lean on the VDMA angle to hear from the Senior Trade Consultant, West Africa, Jekede. What has been your experience when it comes to partnerships for manufacturing advancement?
Thank you very much. First, let me say my experience here since yesterday has been very good and insightful. I sat throughout all the sessions and took serious notes as if I was in school again. And when I got home last night, I reviewed everything. And I'm very impressed by the depths of discussions here. And I also interact with other African countries. And I'm beginning to see a trend that something is happening in Africa. There is an awakening that is happening in Africa about putting an end to exporting our raw materials That conversation is happening all over Africa. And the consciousness to start adding value locally is rising. And it really encourages me a lot because Africa is a massive continent. Many of you know that the map we look at doesn't do justice to the actual size of Africa, right? You must have seen maps on the internet where they show the actual size by putting other countries inside Africa. Like they will put the USA, put China, put Canada, and everything will stay size, and there will be space left. That is how big Africa is. It's huge. And we have a lot of mineral resources. So manufacturing must happen in Africa. We have no choice. Now, I work for VDMA, the German Association of Equipment, Mechanical Equipment and Plant Engineering. So, over 3,600 companies making equipment that you use for manufacturing. That's who I work for and represent them. And we do business in so many, our members, let me say, our members do business all over the world. As you know, Germany is a huge manufacturing powerhouse, right? Just to put it in perspective for you, the GDP of Germany is higher than the GDP of all African countries combined. And when I realized that, actually it blew my mind the first time I realized that the scale of manufacturing and productivity they have in Germany, right? Okay, so we do business all over the world. We've had office in India, China, Japan, USA, Brazil, all the big industrialized countries. We've had offices there for many, many years, some decades. And that's because those countries are highly industrialized. And there's a lot of everyday engagement, conversations about technology. What is the latest? What do your members have? All this exchange is always going on. And really, the level of the world is now, there is no longer any barrier between countries. Everything is linked. You can acquire almost any technology you want, right? There are some strategic technologies that countries keep to themselves, yes. But for most of the things we want to do in Nigeria, we can acquire them through partnerships with other companies, through partnerships with universities abroad, through partnerships with governments, right? So this is the way I see technology transfer. And technology transfer is not something that is given. It's not given, it's taken. You have to take it. You have to have a strong desire to take from others to yourself. And that is what all those successful Asian tigers did. They took it. They didn't wait to be given. Maybe the mistake I see we have always been making in Nigeria and the way we talk is that we are waiting to be given technology. Nobody does that. We take it. But what I see is also that we don't have the right structures and skills to even take the technology. We don't. And this is something I will encourage all of us to work on, all the agencies involved, to work on the skill to take. Now, it starts from simple things like project management, right? Needs definition. What are your needs? What do you want to get from this? Have you clearly defined it? What does Nigeria want? What does your agency want? Define it very well. Move that to project management. Manage the project from the beginning to the end. How do you structure your agreements and your deals with all these other agencies? You know, don't let international agencies that you want to partner with, don't let them shortchange you. Yeah? Don't let them put you down. When you know what you want and you define it clearly and you insist on it, they will give you. I tell you, that is what we keep saying about China. That's what they did. And our market is so big. Nigerian market is big. It's where everybody wants to be. This is where all the international companies want to be. So we can leverage on that market size to create joint ventures and partnerships with local companies. And in the process, those local companies must also learn how to copy, how to learn, how to, do everything that the other people are doing.
Wow. Thank you so
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please let's put your hands together for Mr. Jegede of VDMA. And this is a good time to hand over the mic to the original owner, as the founder, CEO, Nairametrics. Please let's give a round of applause to Mr. Ogochukwu Obichukwu as he comes forward to continue from where I stopped. Please, let's put our hands together. The applause is too cold. Thank you. You're very much welcome. And we're so elated to have you in our midst.
All right. Is it evening already? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Yes. And you are doing such a great job already. So, all right. So we're just going to go straight into the questions. I had some questions here already. So I would want to start first with the Consul General. He's not here? Oh, he's not here. Ah, okay, he's on his way. Okay, all right. So let's be sure who we have here. George Pearson, you're here? All right, fantastic. And then we also have Kayode Jegede is here. Oh, guys, see you. And then Michael is here. All right, fantastic. So, oh, he's here already. Oh, fantastic. Ah, because I know the Consul. All right, please, a round of applause for the Consul as he comes on stage. All right, so this particular session, we're going to be discussing leveraging international partnerships for manufacturing advancements. We do know how important it is to leverage partnership for, especially for the manufacturing sector in Nigeria. And just so that I can recap who we have here. To my right, we have the Consul General of India, Shrio Chandramani Kumar Kern. Good to see you, sir. And we also have the CEO of ProPac, George Pearson, at the extreme left. And then we have the Senior Trade Consultant, West Africa, VDMA, Mr. Kayode Jegede. And then last but not the least, we have Head Sales and Partnership at Leatherback Limited, Mr. Michael Eserehi. Good to see you, sir. All right, so today we're going to be exploring how Nigeria can accelerate manufacturing growth through international partnerships, from diplomacy to big business, trade, and how trade supports fintech. And then we'll hear from the experts shaping this transformation as well. So we get started, and we're going to start first with you, sir, Consul General. India, we know, is fast becoming a global manufacturing hub. And India is doing today what China did several years ago. And so from your vantage point, what foundational steps would you say helped India to scale, and what can Nigeria learn from this experience as we also focus on developing our own local capacity?
Thank you, Mr. Hogo. And good afternoon, our fellow panelists. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to be here and putting across the point of view of India. We grew up by reading in our textbook that India is an agricultural country. Because at that point of time, more than 75% of our labor force and 50% of our GDP was based on agriculture. From that day to today, we are now at 15% of the manufacturing. Means in GDP, our share is 15% of manufacturing sector. This is a great turnaround. And we have been doing it for some time now. That development is happening. Now, what brought India to this level? I would like to mention that in our constitution, in our duties, fundamental duties, it is mentioned that the government should actively do things, develop curriculum which will inculcate scientific temper in our students. That is a big thing, and our previous governments put a great focus on technological education. They built those institutes which are now highest level of learning acknowledged by the world. So there was a scientific temper, and the engineers were there all over the time. So when the opportunities came, when our other sector like power came to us, electricity came to us, the other things were there. And that gave a good fillip to our manufacturing sector, because we are the biggest country in the world, 1.4 billion. So demand was always there. The point was that we needed the purchasing power. And the moment purchasing power came, everything were in place, and we got a good flight. We are sure to continue in future also on this path. And I always tell in all our meetings, the development path of Nigeria and India is exactly same. Rather, you had better chance than us to rise and shine. But somehow, but still the thing has left, and we can leverage from international partnership, because it is important. You know, ideal thing will be that Nigeria has the resources, Nigeria has the manpower, and Nigeria should have the technology. Finish. This is an ideal, but it is not there. So if it is not there, you are supposed to enter into international partnership to fast track your manufacturing growth. It is essential that you do it, take funding from any source possible, taking technological assistance from anywhere possible to fast track this. I think it is enough in the next one. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, sir. Poignant to know that where we are now is where India was several years ago. Today, agriculture takes a huge part of Nigeria's GDP, even though Nigeria is more of a service-based economy, but industrials or manufacturing is nowhere close to where we want it to be as a percentage of Nigeria's GDP. Mr. Pearson, I'm going to come to you next. He was talking about, the Consul General was talking about partnership. And I do know that there's some form of partnership here in Nigeria, right? And so I want you to, maybe perhaps give us some kind of insight into how or what specific example you can provide on how international partnership has helped improve your business, or maybe even improve your operational efficiency, just so that those of the audience here can understand why partnership is important to your kind of business.
Sure, thank you. I think sort of going repeating a little bit what I said earlier. It's my role or our role as ProPac. It's a leading trade exhibition here in Nigeria. It's part of a wider portfolio that we have across Africa. So really, kind of one of my key roles is facilitating international trade coming into Nigeria. And specifically, that involves the technology partners that are supplying the machinery and the technology to the manufacturers here in Nigeria. And I think if you look at some of the examples of over the years where we've had companies coming in for the first time, maybe they're just starting off in Nigeria, you speak to them now and they are selling multi-million pound machinery into a widespread array of manufacturers. And I think something we touched on earlier, that the demand is here. Absolutely, the demand is here for technology. But of course, there's different requirements per different manufacturer. And I think from when we're looking at that international partners, and we use international partners, the term here in ProPac, because generally the machinery that is being produced for manufacturers generally is being manufactured out of Nigeria, okay? So we've got the manufacturing capability here, but the machinery and the technology that goes in comes from India, from China, from Europe. But I think, one thing, it's not one size fits all. It's not one price point that fits all. And I think, there was this term that people used before where, Chinese machinery may have been slightly more affordable, but, there was, maybe not as the same quality. But I think, that has very much changed, and you see where, a lot of that machinery coming in now, there's a different price point, a different requirement, whether you're an SME manufacturer or a multinational manufacturer. But I think the key thing, if we're looking at the machinery, it's the technical, it's the after-sales supply. There's no point investing multi-million-dollar, euro, whatever it is, investment in, if you then don't have the technical capacity to keep your machines running, to keep your machines serviced. Because what happens is that they run very quickly, but then, of course, there's faults that come out. So I think when we're talking to international partners, yes, there's the initial sales or purchase of equipment. In this case, we're talking manufacturing equipment. But then there's the technical and the after-sales support that has to come. But I think even beyond that, it's actually the local training capacity that has to come in as well. Again, it's not cost-effective for a medium-sized manufacturer to buy a piece of equipment, every time it goes wrong, fly someone over from India or whatever it is. There has to be that knowledge transfer of technical capacity that comes in. And if you can see that sort of value chain going across, then we become more self-sufficient here as a manufacturing base.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for that response, Mr. Pearson. And I agree with you, because it's one thing for us to leverage partnership to import equipment and import services, but we also have to leverage partnership to build local capacity. Fantastic. All right, Mr. Jagged, I'm going to come to you next. And I mean, you are a well-known consultant, and so I want to leverage on your knowledge from dealing with the German manufacturers, and from that community, what are some of the key criteria that they look out for when they want to partner with local manufacturing? I mean, you've heard George already say that, look, we might have the competencies here, but the equipment itself needs to be imported. And so from a German perspective, what do they tend to look out for when they want to partner with local manufacturers in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much. What our members ask for, number one, trust. Trust. They ask me to be on the lookout, always be on the lookout for companies they can trust in West Africa. That's number one. Number two, the capacity to absorb knowledge and grow like them. They don't necessarily have to be very big at the beginning, no. But they must have the capacity to absorb the knowledge that the Germans have. As we know, when we compare our state of development in technology and industry and manufacturing, they are way ahead of us, right? But they are willing to partner with companies here that have the right mindset, okay? So I'll say those are the two primary things they look for. Trust. That trust thing is a big issue for them because Nigeria has this image all over the world that, everybody, they see you, they fear you first, So, we have to build that bridge.
Yeah.
Those of us they trust already, we now have to bring other people along with us that say, okay, I trust this person.
Fantastic. And I think in this era of social media and the internet, trust is even more important now, because it's very easy to just Google you, and once they start to see a lot of negative commentary about your organization, and that also affects trust. So good point very much, sir. Trust and your ability to also absorb their knowledge so that you don't waste their time, right? So I'm going to come to you, Mr. Isahi. For SMEs and even big companies that are trying to access global partners, cross-border payments is also a huge issue because you need to be able to pay for those services. And then accessing FX can be a problem, even though we think we have a better FX regime now. But how does companies like Leatherback help ease those frictions?
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say that Leatherback has positioned itself today to be not just a solution provider, right? But what we also try to do is to have partnership and value co-creation at the very core of our business, right? Because we've come to realize that partnerships is very key, to maintaining and sustaining, successful businesses. Now, for SMEs, medium corporates, large corporates, beyond, the solutions that we offer in terms of cross-border banking services, cross-border payment services, what we also try to do is to try to create value for them by virtue of bringing businesses that have similar business requirements together. So take, for instance, I have a list of OEMs that are currently onboarded on my platform today, international OEMs, and I have companies here in Nigeria, businesses here in Nigeria who would like to leverage on the products from these OEMs. What I basically do is to bring these two people together, me playing the central person, because at the end of all of this, so when value is exchanged, I am just playing the payment role at the bottom of all of this. So what this is doing for that business is, like Mr. Jagede said, is creating that trust, because I am a financial partner to an OEM, and I'm referring an OEM to a business here in Nigeria to say, I am currently banking this customer today. This is how much they are currently doing with us, and this is their level of expertise in this business. So I'm recommending that you do business with them, and I'm also able to oversee, your payment consents and all of that. Yes, we provide the solutions today by virtue of our cross-border banking services. We are able to bank customers across multi-currencies today. We're also able to make payouts in over 15 plus currencies of the world today, and we're fast expanding all of that. Now, in addition, we are also looking at it from a solution standpoint. Yes, we have what we call the on-the-shelf solutions. That's what I've just described now in terms of our global banking services and our global payout services. But we also have off-the-shelf services where we have sit-downs with our SMEs, with our business partners, right, to just understand their use cases a bit more, understand what their pain points are, so that we can position ourselves as a company that adds value to your business by providing the right solutions and also providing you with the required recommendations and advisories to help you scale better as you improve in your business.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. I like how you basically align that with trust. I'm going to come to you, sir, Consul General. Let's talk from the diplomatic lens. By being the Consul General, I'm sure you have very good interface between the local manufacturing industry and the Indian community. So, from your own perspective, what Nigerian manufacturing subsectors would you say are most attractive at the moment to Indian investors? And if any, what's holding back greater collaboration?
It was rightly pointed about the trust factor. And substantial Indian community's presence in Nigeria is very helpful in bridging that gap of trust. Because Nigerian businessmen can also come to Indian businessmen, and through them, they can find their right partner. And it is happening right now. So it's a good bridging build with the Indian community, I would suggest. Because there is cultural differences, Indian community will be knowing better their business environment. They can be more, careful about finding the partners. So it is one of them. As far as the sectors are concerned, in the manufacturing and equipment sector or machinery, I would say, the most relevant what I find is plastic industries, pharmaceutical industries, I would say some automobile sectors which are doing good, energy, renewable energy, basically solar. So, and one particular sector which is not being utilized by both Nigerian or Indian manufacturing sector, I would say the textile sector. Because India has an expertise and Nigeria was expert in that at one point of time. They need to reignite it because that can quickly bring in growth, and India will be able to support with the technology, with the machinery in a very easy way. So I think that this is one of the areas where collaboration is lacking and where it is probable. Apart from that, I would say that we are working closely in the agriculture sector, especially the food processing part. The milling equipments, a lot of milling equipments have come from India, and a lot of farm mechanization equipments are also imported from India. These all sectors are very important to make Nigeria self-reliant in their way. These are essential. These are not required for technological leap, but it is necessary for survival. And India is committing, and India is ready to commit more on this sector. Thank you.
Much a round of applause there. Thank you very much for that, sir. Just to recap, Indian community very interested in the plastic, pharma, textile, renewables, automobile, and also the agri sector. So if you're here and these are sectors that you're in, be rest assured these are sectors that the Indian community is very interested in. And by the way, there's also the India-Nigeria Chamber of Commerce, which also sort of helps bridge that trust that we're talking about. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Jegede. I just want to get your view if there are any active trade support or technical assistance programs from VDMA or other German-backed institutions that Nigerian manufacturers can tap into.
Thank you. I have to think a bit about that. I know the German government has several initiatives for Africa. There is a German developmental agency called GIZ, which is present in Nigeria, and it has been present for decades.
Yes.
And they are always doing a lot. They are doing a lot of things, projects all the time. One of the areas I know they are very active in is skills development. As you may know, Germany has the best technical skills development education in the world, and everybody goes to learn from them. So their education program has vocational skills built into it. So that's what Nigeria was trying to do with the 6334 system that didn't really take off. Right? So there is no bias in Germany. When you are in secondary school, you can choose your path, whether you want to go vocational line,
science,
or you want to go academic line, right? And if you go vocational line, you leave secondary school. When you're in secondary school, you actually apply to companies to become an intern, right? A trainee. And they take you on as a trainee for 3 years, right? But the government guarantees your salary as a trainee. And that salary is more than enough to live on. So you work in this company while at the same time you are attached to a technical college in that school. So you go to school a few days, you go to school the rest of the days, and you do that until you graduate and you get a job. So that's the German training system. And believe me that most of the Germans you see, even in government, in executive positions today, went through this kind of system, right? And it works so beautifully for them. So education is one, skill development. VDMA also, this is my 5th year with VDMA in Nigeria. The first 4 years, I was working with them on a vocational skills development program that was a partnership between Aliko Dangote Foundation and VDMA. And we set up an academy in Obajana. And this particular skill we picked is called industrial mechanics. This is the foundation of Germany's industrial secret. It is how you take a piece of metal and machine it into anything you want. That's kind of to say what that trade is about, right? And we selected young Nigerian men and women who have only done secondary school, not higher, 16 to 24-year-old, and then we train them from scratch for 18 months, and they're ready for the workplace. The ones that are the best 20 we keep for another 12 months, and they have a higher level of qualification. So that was what we did, but the program has come to an end now, and Dangote has taken over fully. So Germany is very, very strong in this area. As to the other programs, I will have to do some more research. Fantastic. And get back on that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I remember going to the Dangote refinery myself and seeing a lot of young Nigerians working there, which was quite impressive. But quickly, sir, I know there's no time still on you. I'm going to come to George very soon, and then to Michael as well. You did mention trust at that point, and you did mention technical ability to learn quickly. But for manufacturers as well, what do they need to improve, whether in terms of their systems or packaging or governance or certifications that can make them credible partners? Are there maybe pointers that you can give us here quickly?
I would say generally that Nigerian manufacturers are really trying.
Okay.
They in a very difficult environment, they are doing very well.
There's a round of applause for that, because it's not easy.
And I mean it sincerely. I think the only thing I will add is maybe on a national, global level. What I have noticed is every country that develops in manufacturing, it is a mindset. It is a culture. Manufacturing is a culture. And that's what the Consul General said about India. They created a culture that values science and technology. Now, Germany has that in abundance. There is a culture of manufacturing. The mindset is everybody thinks that, right? Science and technology is the foundation, is respected. We cannot grow to where we want to be if we don't put science and technology as our foundation. We must respect technical people. We must respect engineers. We must respect technicians. We must put them on a pedestal that is high so that the whole world will respect them.
Yes.
Then that skill set we need to make it happen will be there, and we should just take off.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, sir. Thank you. I agree with you 100%. George, just to come to you as well, if you have the opportunity, that's Mr. Pearson, if you have the opportunity to influence Nigerian policy, right? Or maybe speak to international financiers today, what's the one thing, or maybe two, that you recommend to drive more manufacturing partnerships in Nigeria?
Okay, I'll be slightly careful of how to comment on Nigerian policy. I'm not sure I'm
just
best
advice.
placed.
Like, what would you like? You've seen work maybe somewhere else that you think we're probably doing it here, but you think maybe we should double down because you think it's a great idea.
Let me focus then on we've talked about sort of skills, technical capacity, but let's mention about access to finance.
Good.
Because, we know that the large-scale corporates here have access to that and are able to procure, and they are in big ways, machinery. But if you then look and take the manufacturing sector and what that's made up of in terms of SMEs, manufacturers coming through, the challenge we've just talked about, the amount of challenges that there are in manufacturing in Nigeria. But again, I can personally commend how well manufacturers face these challenges and in some cases thriving. But I think we've got to look here in Nigeria at the access to finance for these SMEs that are coming through, because not only are they the ones that are really going to drive the economy over the next 20 years, but they account for, the largest proportion of manufacturers here. So I think there's got to be, I know there are a lot of solutions out there, and I know there's some great things being done through, for instance, the Bank of Industry, some of the export banks as well. But I think from a policy perspective, there's got to be a more supportive framework in place to make it more accessible for SMEs to access that finance, to enable them to be able to buy the technology and the machinery that goes into manufacturing. So I think that would be my key point on that.
Fantastic point there, and I couldn't agree more with you. Please, a round of applause to him. We know manufacturers have been complaining a lot about access to finance, especially now that we're in a very high interest rate environment. And speaking about financing as well, Michael, finally, I'm going to come to you as we close. For Leatherback, there are, we tend to sometimes think Lagos is where everything happens, but there are manufacturing companies all over Nigeria, mostly SMEs or MSMEs. So how does Leatherback serve, these underserved regions? How can they benefit from your platforms? And also, are global partners open to engaging with these manufacturers, despite the fact that they're not in your typical hub like Lagos, Abuja, or Port Harcourt? Quickly.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's a very straightforward response, right? Because we've been talking all the while about partnerships. And one of the things we strive to do is to establish partnerships across all fronts. Now, we know that we cannot do this alone in terms of capturing the entire gamut of SMEs or medium corporates or large corporates, right? So we go through a number of channels, one of which are, this is one of those channels, right? Where we get to meet with, manufacturers, raw material producers, and all of that. We also try to go as granular as getting to market associations, and other types of associations where we know we have a lot of these SMEs or medium corporates, have forums gather and all of that, where we are able to let them understand, the impact of what global finance can be to their business and how we can help scale their businesses from where they are to an international standard. One of the things we say at Leatherback is we want to help you based on the fact that you are starting you are starting local, but we take you global, right? So that's one of the things we preach. Now, to your second point, where you asked about the international partners that we have in terms of the international manufacturers and all of that would like to do, businesses with the underserved SMEs and all of that. That's also the core of our purpose at Leatherback. Now, we also do as well as possible to ensure that we connect the right people to the right sources, right? So we have occasional, forums where we are bringing people together to just discuss, not necessarily because we want to tell them about Leatherback solutions and all of that. We just want people to discuss. We just want people to say, okay, these are my pain points, right? And in those forums, you have international partners there because we have a lot of them who have also expressed interest to say, you are our banking partner. You can be our inroad into Nigeria, into the places that we cannot reach. So we also help them to show them, okay, these are these people that we have gathered. You can now discuss. You can air your views. What we'll do at the end of the day is to now play that financial role, right, between these two partners, and that's how it works for us.
All right, fantastic. Thank you all very much, dear panelists. But before we go, 3 words from you, sir. 3 words. Just 3, as we talk about global partnerships.
Technology transfer, opportunities, and Nigerian strength.
What are 3 words, but 3 phrases was all he gave. So 3 words to you, sir. You're next.
I don't know if I have 3 words, but it's more or less like our mantra or our statement. Start local, go global.
Start local, go global. A round of applause.
VDMA is your partner for industrial growth, for the industrial growth of Nigeria.
All right. Thank you.
Made in Nigeria.
Hey. All right, with that, we come to the end of this session.
Thank you all very much. Please, let's put your hands together for them, please. Can we do it better? Because one thing is synonymous to everyone on this panel. They all sacrificed to be here. They had multiple engagements. They could be any other places, but they decided to be here. So please, let's jam our hands together for them. I believe the DJ will say a proper thank you, but they will have a quick group photograph before they go to their seats, and I'll invite the DG RMRDC. So they have this first session, then the DG RMRDC joins them. Then let's have our beautiful lady from Shell and the other woman there. They are all men. I want you to brighten this photo up. So let's have Shell and Madame in front to join them. Thank you so much. And it was really, really nice listening to you. Thank you. So let's have the moderator and panelists. Can we take this first? Then the women will join. All right, ma'am, please, let's have you. Thank you. We are indeed very, very honored to have you at this event. And we love how much you gave, how much you shared, and your wealth of experience leaves us with a lot of valuable information. Thank you most sincerely. Thank you. Please, let's put your hands together for them as they go to their seats. Dr. Alabi, you can engage them at the VIP. Thank you so much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I must thank you also most sincerely. We started with this hall full, and this is where we are. For your patience all morning, we do not take it for granted. You have devoted your time and everything to be here, and we say thank you indeed. So to give a closing remark and to wrap up on today's occasion, I'd like for the DG RMRDC to kindly please step forward. Please put your hands together for Professor Martin Ikemonso as he comes up to say a proper thank you to all of our panelists, and thank you to you, of course. Thank you, sir.
Okay, very easy. We thank God who helped us to this point. We thank all of you that are all here to this moment. We thank our rapporteurs. We thank the moderators. We thank the panelists, the exhibitors. We thank everyone. And just know tomorrow is another day. And have a very good night rest. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really prompt, Prof. Thank you. So let's be on our feet as we observe the national anthem to formally close. Thank you. This was indeed a very packed day. So let's have the national anthem and we close for today. Tomorrow we continue. Thank you. I wish you safe journeys to your various destinations. See you